Hey everyone, welcome to the Generation Y Conservative. I'm glad that you could join us today. We are shooting a little bit earlier on a Thursday today, but we have a little bit of a special guest. It's someone I've been trying to get on for over a year now. It's Billy. We're going to be talking about a bunch of different things tonight, ranging from, well, our main topic is actually going to be the midterm elections and what happened with everything, kind of breaking it all down, taking a look at who won, who lost, where the victories were. Was it actually a blue wave or more of a toilet flush for the Democrats? We also have a grab bag of kind of like goodie topics to go over in regards to things from entertainment. We'll talk a little bit about Bohemian Rhapsody. Unfortunately, Mike isn't with us tonight to give a quick review of that as well, because he went to see that with me. And we're also going to be talking about catching up on some follow-ups on the Kavanaugh situation and what's been going on since he was appointed to the justice. Speaking of justices, we have a little word from the bird that there is a little bit of a mishap with Justice Ginsburg today, so we'll send out our prayers to her as well for a speedy recovery. But in the meantime, get ready. This is the Generation Y Conservative Podcast. Okay, I'm glad that everyone could join us tonight. If you're tuning in right now, you're watching on Facebook Live. By the way, Billy is actually keeping an eye on the comments. Tani's joining in there, so you can say hi to her. What's
up, punk?
If you're joining in, you can ask questions. You can get involved with comments. We'll read those off and respond to them as much as possible, as long as they're kept civil. So it doesn't need to be civil. We can react to some outrageous ones too. But if you are following along on Facebook right now, head over to the Generation Y Conservative fan page and hit the like button and follow button so that you know when we go live and you can get interactive with us on there. Also, follow along on Twitter at Gen Y Conservative without the E on the end, and you can get involved in some of the morning show stuff that I get involved with on there. And the most important one to me is that you like or subscribe and share on the YouTube channel. Just search for the Generation Y Conservative on there as well, because unfortunately, with Google being the owner of that and their algorithms constantly changing, conservatives have been under attack for their freedom of speech, and things have been squelched out, left out of feeds as far as trending topics and everything. We're just not showing up for those. And as a content creator, it doesn't have to do specifically with being a conservative. They keep on moving the goalposts as far as how you can make money. And as of right now, in order for this podcast to make any money, we need to have a rush of subscribers. So it's really important that you share the podcast with friends and family, especially those that agree or even those that disagree and want to get involved and have little shouting matches, just to get them subscribed so that we can actually move forward with the podcast. If you are an audio listener, you can always tune in on Sundays from 3 to 6 p.m. On KLR and Internet Radio, where they re-air this broadcast and then share it to iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Podcasts, and Spreaker as well. So if you subscribe to any podcast on any of those platforms, certainly head over and subscribe to the podcast on there. Good to go?
I just thought maybe you had your own line of vitamins. You were
yeah, I have, what is it?
Colloidal silver.
Yeah.
I can't believe.
So Billy's with us. He is actually a fan of Alex Jones, who I rip into all the time. And we when we're talking to each other on the phone and stuff, we just go back and forth about things that he makes fun of Ted Cruz, I make fun of Alex Jones, he makes fun of Glenn Beck, I tell him to get his head out of Trump's behind.
Or vice versa, I don't know.
So I want to welcome Billy because it's been a long time. I've been asking him to come on for a real long time, and fortunately not only did he come tonight, but his schedule has been freeing up, so that's nice for him as well. And we welcome him because he has a range of opinions I'm sure is going to just contribute to the podcast and make it more fun as well, because we kind of play off each other just like most of my guests do that I invite on. Here, take this.
Nobody's hearing it?
No, they are hearing you. They're getting some sort of feedback. It might be the rubbing against the sweater there.
Oh, hold on. Let me take my Mr. Rogers sweater off.
No, just leave it on. It's
Okay,
fine.
okay.
Okay, so hopefully that works.
Yes.
All right. First thing I want to get into now, I don't want to ruin this for anyone, especially Billy here, because he says he's really interested in going to see it and everything as well. We went to see last Friday Bohemian Rhapsody in IMAX, and I just want to give a quick review on it because I'm sure you're the same. Like that era of music. I know you're a fan of 80s music too, and the 70s. Obviously, this is the 70s, but I think that span of those 2 decades were probably like, to me, it was the music age.
I like them all. I like all the eras except for, I guess, the end of the 90s on. I couldn't stand most music.
Yeah, like the end of Grudge or that beginning of it.
Yes, those like second tier and third tier grunge bands, like when they started. Those are the worst. Creed. I think Creed was the word. I think that's the Antichrist. Yeah, it was Creed.
So in regards to Bohemian Rhapsody,
as a whole,
the movie was. If I were to rate it right off the bat, it would be a 9 out of 10, and possibly even better. It was amazing, and they end the movie with 20 minutes of the 26 minutes recreated of the Live Aid concert. And he did, actually Mike sent me a video of a side-by-side comparison of the actual Live Aid concert and this guy, Rami, recreating it, and everybody recreating it, down to 2 guys that were sitting up on the scaffolding enjoying the music.
Wow.
They recreated this step for step, every movement, and it gives me chills just thinking about it. Like, it's amazing. And when you see it in IMAX, the sound...
I never knew you were that big of a Queen fan.
Oh, yeah, greatest hits. And I'll tell you why. My mom.
Yeah.
My mom introduced me to them, ELO, and all those bands back in the day. Like, you're Elton John, Billy Joel, like, all that stuff is just ingrained into me as far as musical taste. But the movie was awesome because it dives into this back history of the band, them coming together. I had no idea. I mean, I'm sure if I did some research into it. I didn't know he worked at Heathrow as a airport as a baggage handler.
Why are you telling me? I might as well just sit home now.
Yeah, but all this stuff on his family history, and it really dives down into who Freddie Mercury was and the struggles that he had. Because yes, he slept with men. You know?
You know what? Just stop. I don't want to know anymore.
But here's the thing.
This is going to be really hard for me to do a review.
People will come out of that movie seeing different things, and that is that some people will say that he was kind of a messed up guy because he just didn't know where to place things and everything. To me, the way they projected the character, and who's the not the bassist, the lead guitar guy for Queen.
Brian May.
Brian May directed the film. So talk about...
he did?
Yeah. Or wow. Bryan Singer did. He was like one of the creative guys over it, though. It's been taking...
Yeah, right. He just like stood in the corner and said, make my jacket red. Make it red with sequins.
Yeah. But so to have such close people associated with it to actually help out with the film and know what was going on and everything, it really showed. And I think that when you look at Freddie Mercury as the guy, it seems like he had this void in him, in his soul, really, that he just kept on trying to fill. And I think that a lot of people have that, but when you add fame and fortune on top of that, and that hole just becomes deeper and you can't access it and fill it fast enough.
I tried my best to find out for you, but
I know.
It didn't work out.
I know. But he was a prick at times. He was a loving person that shared and cared about everyone at times. And he was a broken individual, just like I think the rest of us are, that you just get this full character breakdown of him. And it's an amazing movie. Amazing movie. Can't say enough about it.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Who do you think, what would be the one biography that you'd like to see on the silver screen that has not been made?
Done like that?
Just anybody that
Frank
you'd like
Sinatra.
Okay, didn't they ever make a movie like a
not anything that I think
biopic? That's what they call it.
Yeah,
biopic.
Nothing that dives in with the kind of cinematography that this has. You know, I think we finally reached a creative point with technology and the ability to do things to recreate Wembley Stadium with. I looked over at Mike at one point. When they started the Live Aid concert, they came in from the sky and zoomed in over this 100,000 people crowd and went right up to the stage over the heads of all these people. And obviously they couldn't have pulled that many extra people in just for a movie scene or anything. It was all digitally recreated.
It's amazing what they could do. They could do Wembley Stadium. They could speed up a tape of Acosta. It's amazing.
But it gave me chills. That gave me chills just sweeping over the stadium and just thinking to myself, like, yeah, that's computer generated. But at one point in time, there were that many freaking people that Freddie Mercury and this band and Bowie and who was the other big name there? Elton John, I think. Wasn't Elton John part of it or something?
Of Live Aid?
Yeah. It was a bunch of big
I watched
names.
it live.
Yeah, just to be in front of that many people.
I don't know how because I wasn't even born yet, but I saw it live, and I remember I wasn't there at the show.
85, right?
But I watched it on TV live. Yeah. So Led Zeppelin played with Phil Collins playing drums, which was a train wreck. Believe it or not, it was terrible. And then there was who else played? I'm trying to think of the big bands back then, the ones that were on stage that day. The Stones, didn't they? I think the Stones were there.
Probably, yeah.
I'd imagine Bob Geldof put the whole thing on.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
guy,
dive into that a little bit.
He's like Bono, but he's not phony. So that's the only difference between him and Bono. Yeah, you know. So he puts his money where his mouth is, and he's a pretty good dude. And right now he raised Todd Rundgren's daughter or something like that.
Really?
Yeah. Now Todd Rundgren, he's a Trump hater. So obviously I hate him too.
You're gonna love this. We're gonna stick with entertainment wise some stuff for now. Yeah. Ben Stiller is apparently apologizing for the character he played in Tropic Thunder over 10 years ago because of the PC correctness.
I was wondering when that was going to happen. But aren't you talking about Robert Downey Jr. because he was the one who played it in the blackface?
No, we will get to that.
Oh,
but
what did Ben Stiller play? Oh, because of the
Simple Jack. Let's take a look at Simple Jack.
Goodbye, Mama. Now you can have ice cream in heaven. I'll see you tonight when I go to bed in my head movies. But this head movie makes my eyes rain.
Well,
as Leslie said to me, it's not like he was playing a specific person. You know, he was playing a character. Why would you have to apologize?
Really,
for that?
What the humor in that particular role was that he was playing an actor who wasn't a good actor. Right?
Yeah,
you know, he was playing the role horribly.
He was the dude behind the dude playing a dude resembling another.
Never
dude.
go full.
Yeah. So it says actor. This is according to Wall Street Journal, Western Journal Entertainment. It says actor Ben Stiller is doubling down on a decade-old apology. He apologized a decade ago about this for portraying a mentally developmentally disabled character in the 2008 movie Tropic Thunder.
Well, I'd like Tom Cruise to apologize for portraying a bald guy.
Yeah.
I'm offended.
It says Tropic Thunder was actually boycotted 10 years ago when it came out, and I apologize then, he said. But yeah, to your point, what you were talking about before, I can't believe, I don't know, Robert Downey Jr. does a good job of, sometimes he gets into politics, but he balances it pretty darn well as far as staying out. You just like him
because you're Marvel obsession.
I am Marvel obsessed.
You really need help.
But let's take a look at what today's liberals would just go back crap crazy over.
Oh yeah.
Y'all might be in for a treat. You know, back before the war broke out, I was a saucier in San Antone. I bet I could call up some of them greens. Yeah, noodle some crawfish out the patty, yo. I made us some crab apples for dessert now, yeah? Hell yeah! Ha! Hell yeah! Ha!
That's how we all talk. We all talk like this, huh? Yes, sir. Huh? Yeah, get some crawfish and some ribs. Ha! Yeah! You're Australian. Be Australian. Excuse me, Kangaroo Jack.
I get excited about my food's name.
This is just coming after, what was it, Al Roker and all of NBC going off on Megyn Kelly for just discussing and questioning Halloween blackface. She didn't do it. She didn't defend anyone, and she lost her show over it.
Well, she was just part of the LGBTQ community for that. She was questioning.
Yeah, yes. Exactly. Yeah.
Isn't that what that means?
I guess.
Oh, I don't know.
You never know anymore.
I don't know. It's broad. It's open.
Oh, boy.
Megyn Kelly.
Megyn Kelly. What do you think about her? You don't like her, do you?
I think she's hot.
She's good looking.
Yeah, she's good looking. But, I mean, besides that, she's just really good looking. So I
think she was really good. I know a lot of Trump supporters hated her for hardballing Trump with questions and everything. But that's your job. It
is and it's not. You know, so here's a perfect example. And, Jim Acosta has a right to ask hard questions.
Yeah.
But when he gets an answer and then him responding, I don't know if you got to see it.
Then you shut up.
Well, you do shut up, but he was basically saying, no, you're wrong.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
He started that question.
That's exactly what Megyn Kelly did when she started.
He said, I challenge you.
So, well,
it wasn't even a question. That's the point.
So when Megyn Kelly asked the first question of that whole, because she was out for blood, it was obvious. There was no bipartisanship.
Right.
So she got out there and she said, when you call women this and that, and he said, only Rosie O'Donnell. She goes, no, that's not true. That's not it. There was more. Do you remember that?
Kind of, yeah.
Rewatch.
Well, here's the thing, too, in regards to that. The one thing that Trump was being lambasted for when he was running was his treatment of women, or at least that tape that came out of him on the bus, right? So if you're gonna have a hard question for him, it's gonna be along the lines of that. Now, where I agree with you though, is once you get an answer, deal with it, you know? And when I say it's your job as a reporter to ask hard questions, yeah, look at Jim Acosta, look at all these other reporters in the press conferences and everything that ask hard questions. Yeah. So a liberal would say, well, you're being a hypocrite because that's all they're doing to Trump, right? That's not true. They have an agenda out there to destroy him, and it's coordinated in most cases. And the fact is, they're hypocrites because they never once threw hardball questions at Obama.
Oh, my God. They didn't ask him the most obvious, on the surface, real things about him that he even admitted in his book in his own words, and people would never question that because most of the press is owned by the same people. All right, it's a big conspiracy. No, but it is it is basically the same people, and they have the same agenda, and they hate him for the same reasons, and they love communism. And there is no Democrat Party anymore. They're communists. That's all there is to it. And that's what I always, you can call it whatever you want, socialist, democratic, or what do they call it? Social.
The closest you have
Democratic socialists.
Yeah.
They have socialists. They have Marxists, whatever. They're all the same. They're all going one direction. It's communism. And all these little splinter groups, Antifa and what else is there? Code Pink. I'm trying to remember what half of these probably don't even exist anymore. Oh,
the new Black Panthers.
The new Black Panthers. Yeah. The old Black Panthers were cool. I'm a big Malcolm X fan. I am.
I know you've said that. Isn't it crazy to think that the closest you have to a moderate Democrat is Joe Lieberman, probably? And he doesn't even identify with the Democrats anymore.
He's still in Congress?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, well.
But I mean, as far as influence and stuff, or of late,
no influence. Lieberman, my God,
a little bit.
I think probably the most.
That's how sad it is. The situation.
No, you'd have to go with like one of those, the blue blood Democrats that still exist, like the gentleman from West Virginia who just won. He voted for Kavanaugh and he won re-election. The Democrat.
Well, all the ones that voted against Kavanaugh did not. Most of them didn't win their seats.
The ones that were like in a real state, not like California, New York. They're fake states.
True.
You're fake news.
You a big Roseanne fan?
Well, no. I'm not, of the show.
The show, or the person, the legend, the myth.
I mean, she's brave, and she is. I think anybody that anybody that it's easy to be a liberal. It's easy to be a liberal because there's really, you have no compass, and not only that, you can just go around and you just feel things. You have to think about them, and just the first reaction, you can get all up in arms. That's what you have to do to be a liberal. Be a conservative, you really have to, I mean...
Stand your ground.
Yeah, you do have to stand
on
your
principles
ground.
and morals.
Right, and thank God, I mean, with the way I talk, I would never be able to run for anything. I was a dog catcher. They would forget it. They'd This is why I get mad when you bring up stuff like... And it's not... I understand you just bringing it up, like with Trump and stuff, like, oh, they caught him on tape saying that thing. I apologize for every single male in the world, but every single one of us had said stuff like that before.
I've said that before. Yep.
Oh, that's what it is to be a guy. I'm sorry. Yeah. Unless you're like, neutered by your girlfriend or wife.
Are you talking about someone specifically?
Not him.
No, not me.
No.
I thought you were talking about someone we talked about before the podcast started.
Bottom line is just be a damn man, all right?
So,
or I'll grab you by the...
Yeah. Roseanne, obviously, she was kicked off of her show. They canceled the show and everything, but the ABC felt like they had enough of an audience there to come back with the Connors without Roseanne and start up this show without like the mental capacity to understand that what brought the audience was Roseanne, right? And so and it was a right-leaning audience that enjoyed the new Roseanne because she was just digging into her sister, who was a liberal, right? I don't watch a show, so I just go off of what everybody else is saying. Yeah. But the Connors came back, and the ratings were okay for the first night that it showed, and they've just tanked. And ABC has ordered one additional episode, which shows you it's a goodbye episode. It's a wrap things up episode.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they keep The View on, and nobody watches that show. Sorry,
unfortunately, people do. I don't.
They don't have
why.
ratings. They don't have ratings. They don't. Look at CNN's ratings.
They're horrible.
MSNBC's ratings are better, actually, than CNN. Just like
MSNBC has seen a little bit of a surge lately.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I miss? I miss that Al Sharpton show. That was the best. I could watch that. I would buy the box set if it was like if I was going at like Phi or whatever the place is called now. Yeah. I would buy the box set of the Al Sharpton show.
What was it?
Check out episode 3. 3 minutes and 2 minutes into it.
Him trying to read a teleprompter at any given time.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best.
All right. So, so the Connors is obviously on its way out the door.
They did that to Last Man Standing, too. I'm not a fan of the show.
Oh, it's one of my favorite shows.
Well, and there's a lot of people that like it, and I just, I'm an Office guy. I just love The Office. But
yeah, I can see that. I understand that.
But the thing was, they were doing great in the ratings, and they ripped them right off. It has nothing to do with ratings. It has to do with a narrative.
Politics, inner politics, yeah. But now that it's on Fox, the ratings are soaring again.
Yeah, well, thank God for Fox to be... And when I watch Fox News, I'd say this is middle-of-the-road reporting. It just is. I don't look at them as right-leaning. Now listen, when they do Hannity show,
I was going to say the opinionated stuff. I mean, that.
My boy Tucker Carlson, I love that man, and I love Hannity for driving it home all these years too. I don't, just good job for good lifetime achievement award.
So we're gonna bounce back and forth with Candace Owens, but I felt this one fell into the entertainment portion because it deals with Kanye, right? Yeah. I don't know what your thoughts are on Kanye. If you have anything that you want to say
I would rather never hear him do Bohemian Rhapsody again. Yeah. I could say that because that was hilarious. But
I actually never saw it.
Oh my gosh! Wait till I send you. Oh my gosh! I can't believe you've never seen it. If I would have known you were a big Queen fan, I would have sent you the thing. But what do you call it? The YouTube video, or whatever.
Yeah. So Candace Owens, they struck up a friendship once he started coming out in support of. Not even so much in support of Trump. He was literally just saying black people need to start thinking for themselves. Mm-hmm. And somehow that got twisted around by Saturday Night Live and Pete Davidson and all this stuff. And I think really the overall message was people just need to think for themselves, and stop following what's being fed to you. And he keeps on talking about the simulation, which at first it really does sound crazy, like living in the simulation. But what he's talking about is the input into life being so programmed on what people hear. It's like living in a simulation, you know? And he specifically has talked about his daughter coming home and saying stuff about, like, I'm black because you're black and mommy's white, and like breaking it down. He's like, she never thought about that stuff until she went into the public school system.
Isn't that interesting?
You know?
Because it's never about it's never been about Martin Luther King's dream. Matter of fact, everything is that if I hear what's his face, what's that goofball from South Carolina? He marched in Selma with
Ray Lewis. No. Ray Lewis.
Go
Lewis. It's Lewis though.
Yeah. I can't remember his name now. Anyway, that goofball. If I hear John Lewis. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You want to? He is anti-human. That's what he is.
And the crazy thing is, when you watch the movie Selma, and going
Louise?
back,
okay,
it seemed like he was a good supporter of Martin Luther King at the time, and somehow he got derailed on his mission for that, I think.
Well, the bottom line is, I think a lot of people needed jobs after that. Their leader left, and they needed a job.
What are you talking about?
They're a bunch of shit-stirrers. And that's all they did. They said, oh, well, they're not going to make any money by bringing people together. It's keeping them separated.
Oh, well, I think that's the job of Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson.
There's no difference there.
Yeah.
Or you go into politics. And
if people actually came together, they would not have a job. They wouldn't have anything to do in life.
Nope.
Yeah.
You know, and you can go right down the line with everything. Go ahead.
I'm gonna get us back on the rails here. So Candace Owens got together with Kanye West, and they were talking. They were having a good time. They were getting to be friends and everything. Yeah. And there was this thing called Blexit, right? Black exit from the Democratic Party and everything. Mm-hmm. And apparel came out, #Blexit and everything. And she kind of, in a roundabout way, gave credit to Kanye, I think more as the inspiration for it, but people ran with it as that it was Kanye's line of apparel or something. And he got really pissed off, and he said he was backing out of politics now, and he was being used as a tool and stuff. And he was specifically talking about Candace Owens using his name in regards to this Blexit movement and everything, and he got really mad at her, and she wrote this blog apology,
a Blexit blog.
Yeah, but I thought it was, if you get in,
so Blexit is not happening with this.
Oh yes, it is.
Okay, with his apparel line, I meant.
Oh, not him,
because I just ordered a Blexit watch.
Yeah,
and what am I going to do if it's not in style? Nobody's wearing it.
You won't. You'll be unique. But you have to. People should go and read this blog, because it's her taking personal responsibility in regards to just grasping it and saying, I understand where he's coming from. I apologize for it. I take responsibility for it. And I hope that we can come to terms and heal this now, you know, which is one of my biggest concerns about our country, our culture as a whole, is there's no acceptance of responsibility anymore. She could have very easily have said, Kanye is just backing out of being a poor sport now. He's getting tarred and feathered in public by the Democrats, and he's going to go running back to them now because he's sick of his name being dragged through the mud. She could have done a bunch of different things to put the blame back on him and shift it and start this whole battle between them, but she took responsibility for it. Yeah. And she's an up-and-coming voice, a leader in the black community for the Republican movement and everything. She had a lot to lose by going either direction on this, and I thought she chose the responsible route.
Between her and Omarosa, I think they have a good level head. And
do you like Omarosa?
No, are you kidding?
Do you like Candace Owens?
Yes,
I love Candace Owens.
I do. She's very smart, and I just like quick-witted people, you know.
Yeah, so, absolutely. And she's doing amazing things for Turning Point USA. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I love Turning Point USA.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah, there's a lot of good blogs and a lot of good commentators, you know, that are out now.
Who would you say are your top people to listen to?
So, Alex Jones has spawned a lot of great people. I love Milo. I love.
I like Milo.
I love.
I haven't listened to him for a long
obviously, time. Obviously, my gosh, what am I losing my mind? The Scottish guy. Or the,
yes, I was going to say Irish guy. I don't know his name, though. He always sits in front of a map, though, right?
Yeah.
He's really good.
He's great. And these are all people that came from InfoWars, you know. I actually I love listening to Roger Stone. I love Roger. I'm a huge Roger Stone fan.
Okay.
Huge. I still listen to Glenn Beck. Not as much as I used to, but you know, I still like to keep my ear to it. I still think Rush Limbaugh is awesome.
Well, he's the godfather of politics.
He's gotten, like, he was getting stale for a while, and he's gotten so. It feels like he's gotten re-inspired.
Which is kind of the reason why I stopped listening to Hannity. I think
it's a tough one.
You're
I'm
overall
with you.
just like pounding the pavement every day for Trump without ever criticizing anything.
It's not only that, but he uses the same words. If I hear him say besmirched one more time, I swear to God, I just can't handle it. Now, I love the man because, you know, they, you know, when he was, especially when it was Hannity and Combs, that was a fantastic show.
Yeah.
You know, it got people, it got both sides of the argument out, and, you know, it got, you know, Hannity was always sharp back then, and Combs was always incoherent, and it was great. You know, they came together.
It was like a comedy show.
It was like, you know, poor Juan Williams watching that guy talk. So, you know, are you that slow, buddy? You know, are you trying to act in the part that Ben Stiller played in that Tropic Thunder? I can't figure it out.
One thing I will say is Hannity is a really genuinely nice guy in person.
Oh, you met him at
multiple times now.
Was it K-Pac?
CPAC.
Yeah.
K-Pac.
What was it, K-Pax? Wasn't it the planet?
CPAC.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
That was that. What's that guy's name? I can't remember the guy's name. The actor. He was in that movie. It was a great movie.
I can't think of it.
He's the one who plays in House of Cards. In
The Usual Suspects.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. Kevin. Yeah.
Kevin what?
Spacey.
Yeah. Anyway, he was in a movie called K-Pax. That was awesome.
I would say the top people I really enjoy listening to, that kind of, it's the whole sharpening of your metal, I guess is what they say. Or whatever.
Sharpen?
No.
Oh,
no.
Sorry.
Ben Shapiro. Joking. Ben Shapiro's fantastic. Like, super. Charlie Kirk. I obviously listen to Glenn Beck. I like listening to Doc Thompson. I think he's really good. Steven Crowder. You have to get some comedy in there, kind of like we try to do here.
Crowder.
Yeah. So those are.
You know who I will always love? Dr. Michael Savage.
Savage is good. Yeah.
He's brutal, and so, you know, I never cared for the way he would shut people up. You know, I'd always have. That's why I can never listen to Levin too long. He's like, "Shut up, you big dope," or whatever.
Shut up.
I don't know. I like conversation.
Yeah.
I like conversation, even if it gets, you know, heated sometimes. I fall to the depths of my competitor, or my what would you call that, debater.
Right. Yeah.
Just like Trump, you know, we fall short sometimes because I feel bad for just like our president, because he takes it day in and day out, and he's a real person. And that's what got him elected to begin with. So I love when he does the things that he does. Mm-hmm. I do.
Okay, so keeping with entertainment here, Saturday Night Live. Did you see this guy, Pete Davidson, mock the veteran?
I mean, I didn't see it live. I mean, I haven't watched that show in 20 years.
I know. You can't beat the old cast. Even not too long ago, there was a good cast with like when Will Ferrell was on there.
They were
and
hilarious.
Yeah, they can't pull that anymore, because now it's all about bashing people without funny. There's no humor to it.
Nothing funny.
So let's take a look at what Pete Davidson said about this congressman that was running down in Texas.
This guy's kind of cool, Dan Crenshaw.
Oh, come on, man.
Yo, hold on. You may be surprised to hear he's a congressional candidate from Texas and not a hitman in a porno movie. I'm sorry, I know he lost his eye in war or whatever. Whatever.
Here's the thing. I have a sick sense of humor, right? The whole hitman in a porno thing, I actually kind of find a little funny. But when you go on and you say, you know what, he lost his eye in the war or whatever, you know, so sue me or whatever type thing, you know, it's like you're diminishing the the value of a person that lost his eye to say the stupid crap that you say. Which isn't even funny, really.
But see, what you're trying to do is bring a sense of humanism to a liberal. There is none.
You've been waiting to get on this podcast, haven't you?
No, this is life. This is life. Liberals do not look at babies as human. They don't look at they don't look at our military as admirable. They don't look at our first responders. It's admirable. If God forbid you play some stupid role in a movie, you have to apologize 20 years later. Mm-hmm. They're just not. They're not. They don't have any common sense. They lack common sense, and they're all mentally ill, and they should be locked up.
So,
by the way, I don't speak for him.
In typical fashion here, as you would expect, a guy of the credential that Dan Crenshaw has responded in a very classy way, I felt, and did a really good job. He said in a tweet, "Good rule in life, I try hard not to offend. I try harder not to be offended. That being said, I hope at NBC SNL recognizes that vets don't deserve to see their wounds used as punchlines for bad jokes." What more needs to be said? It was a bad joke to begin with. There wasn't anything in there. And the only way you could run a punchline on it was to make fun of a war-wounded vet, essentially. You know?
I wish Trump would have did a video tweet and said, "You're fake comedy."
Yeah. Oh, boy. Here we go. I was debating on even playing this little news clip here of this Shark Tank episode and everything.
I've never seen Shark Tank.
If you tune, it's one of our favorite shows, and it's it's a bunch of entrepreneurs that invest.
I've never seen it, but I know what it is.
It's fantastic, and it's actually a great capitalism tale to show America what you can do with capitalism to help people out and everything. If you tuned in last week, or if you listened to last week's podcast, I had a moment where I broke down and teared up over reading something about Old Glory and the flag and everything.
I heard it.
And it got to me.
I'll tell you later on what I thought.
But it got to me, and I get emotional on some things.
I don't like this one. Went back.
So here's something off of Shark Tank that a NBC or something like that picked up on a news story on, and the back history to what these kids went through with their parents and everything to bring this product to Shark Tank. I thought it was just phenomenal. It's a heartbreaking story, but after we get done watching this, and I try to compose myself as we get back from it, I want to talk about why exactly Shark Tank is this American show that people should be watching, and the one investor that's on there, his backstory. I almost teared up with that one too. So let's take a look at what this actually happened, what transpired with this Shark Tank episode.
Finally tonight here, America Strong. 3 children who no doubt made their father proud, with millions watching.
Hi, Sharks. My name is Kaylee Young.
I'm Christian Young.
I'm Kira Young.
And we're the Young family.
The Young family that made an impression on us and millions of you at home, making their pitch on behalf of their father, the firefighter, who lost his fight with cancer before he could make it to Shark Tank himself. But they came with his spirit.
Our business is
the Cupboard Pro. Our dad invented the Cupboard Pro, and it was his dream to pitch it on Shark Tank. Unfortunately, he passed away before he had that chance. But we're here today to continue his legacy and make that dream a reality.
Their father, Keith, the New York City firefighter, even recorded his own pitch along the way. The cutting board and the device you attach to it.
Cupboard Pro is really, really simple to use.
A built-in cleanup.
I'm going to take all these scraps. They're going to go right into the cup. Really? Could it be any simpler?
This family has been through so much. That's their mom, Beth, who died of breast cancer. And not long after, they would learn their father was diagnosed with cancer too.
He was diagnosed with cancer, which is a 9/11 related cancer from being a fireman there. And he was on hospice in the beginning of the year, and he just passed away 3 months ago.
Everyone was moved. Kaylee, Christian, and Kira asking for a $100,000 investment.
The three of you together, that's it.
Yeah.
You're running everything.
Yes. Honestly, it's kind of hard to overwhelm the three of us just because of like the amount of stress that you go through just seeing your loved ones sick. And we only able to be here because of how strong our parents were.
And then the offer.
Rather than us fight it all out, we decided to work together.
Wow.
And so all 5 sharks are going to come together.
Which is a rarity.
Now,
What did they decide?
each one of us is going to contribute $20,000. And so any profits that we earn from our 20%, we're going to contribute to whatever charity your dad supported for firemen that have been sick from 9/11.
Oh my God.
So what do you guys say? That's our offer.
And tonight, the Young family checking in with us.
Hi, David. This is Kaylee.
And Kira Young, and Christian's at school right now.
And what they told us, we loved hearing. They have now sold out of their Cupboard Pros, and they have $1 million in back orders.
The amount of love and support that we've received from everyone has been so incredible, and we are just so grateful.
Thanking the Sharks and the viewers at home.
And everyone else that is supporting this journey with us.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
I kept it together. I think I can keep it together through talking about it too. You have these 3 siblings whose father invented this just little like a trench that hangs off of a cutting board that when you finish chopping up, you either sweep the scraps in there or whatever you're cutting up and just get it off the board and easy to dispose of or throw into a soup or like whatever you're using it for, right? And he wanted to pitch it to Shark Tank. Unfortunately, he died. But then you go deeper into this backstory and you find out that their mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. She dies, and then just shortly after that, he's diagnosed with cancer. He dies. So now you have 3 young siblings left alone that are pursuing this American dream of bringing this invention to the Shark Tank. And then you have...
I got a Kleenex. Hold on.
you have, thank you for breaking that for a second, because it worked. You have all the sharks, the 5 sharks, investing equally, and then on top of that, taking whatever they earn in profit from this invention off of their share of the company and giving it back to firefighters that were affected after 9/11 for health effects. That's a big thing. Yeah. That's a huge thing, and that's not New York firefighters. Those are firefighters that showed up across the country. I mean, that was an incredible time back then. I know I personally really remember everything that was going on at that time. But
what time?
9/11.
Oh, 9/11.
Yeah. But so it's just it's an awesome story, and it personally affects me. Obviously, I had cancer. I have 3 kids, and my mom has breast cancer. So I'm watching this whole thing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's a mess when you feel that personally and everything. And but you know what was interesting too is I don't know if it was that shark, the guest shark that sat in on that show, or if it was
the guest shark.
Yeah, so they have the regular cast of sharks, right? That investors, and then they have an investor that will come in and guest invest. Basically, you know, yeah. So this guy, though, wait till you hear this guy's story. They played it, and this guy grew up with a bunch of siblings in a single mother household, right? Yeah. And she gets health issues and ends up in a wheelchair, right? This guy drops out of high school so that he can get his GED faster to get to college and fast track his education to be able to support his family. Okay? Like, went out of his way. He did the thing that you would think would end his education to fast track his education, right?
Makes sense.
Yeah, it does once you see the way he did it, right? He goes to college, he goes to law school, he pays his way through law school while he's working, I think, like multiple jobs or something like that. Gets in on his first day at a big firm or something like that where he was working for the city or something. His first day, he's like, I finally made it. His mom dies that day that he starts working.
Are you trying to upset
me? I know. I'm like, it was insane.
Getting...
I'm watching this and I'm like, oh my gosh.
And then an avalanche covers their house.
But so listen to this. He goes on to be one of the overseers of the Freedom Tower that was erected for the Twin Towers, obviously, and everything. And then he went on to be, I think, like half owner of the Miami Dolphins, right? So my point being on this, I sat there and I watched this, and yeah, it personally affected me because he overcame all these hardships only to be able to get to a point where any person would logically think, I can't wait to make my mom or my dad, whoever's left, proud of me. I can't wait for them to do everything for me in the hardest of times just to go and support them for once and be there for them. And on that day, she dies. You know, that's horrible. But to see where he got to, I sat there and I was sitting with my wife and I said, I got so angry. Like after the touching part, I got so angry because I kept on saying to her, you know, here we are. We have this portion of America that considers themselves left of center, right? That no matter what you say, all they keep on pointing to is the richest 1%, the richest 5-10%, right? The richest 5%, I think it is, or 10%, pay 50% of the overall income tax in this country. The bottom 3% pay
none.
Nothing.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just insane.
Well, that is right there. That is another part of the divide between people with common sense and people with emotions.
My point being on this, they look at a guy like this without knowing his backstory or any of these people's backstories that are running these big companies, which come with so much more responsibility than anyone would be able to do on the left. They would buckle under the pressure, right? And they look at this person who's in that powerful position that has made their living, right? And they say that person's evil because they earn so much more than their secretary. They don't contribute to society and stuff.
They're the ones that take the risk. They're the ones that...
But on top of that, look what this dude came from. Nothing.
I understand.
And they say that they can't do it themselves. That's what infuriates me.
It's all the same. It's all the same crap. It just is. You know, I never got a check from a liberal. You're never gonna make money from a liberal. They don't donate money. They're always the ones that'll, they.
Oh yeah.
They're
Look at Joe Biden. Was he like 3% of his total?
They do whatever. They do
whatever?
the minimum of whatever they have to do to get a tax break.
They're more interested in helping make sure
you're
you
talking
pay.
about those. I'm talking about everyday.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
But you don't get a check from a liberal. You don't. They don't tip well.
No, they don't. I know that for a fact.
It's no doubt about it. They're the most greedy people.
Yeah.
They're jealous of people that made better life decisions than them, and they think that they should reap the same rewards, and they shouldn't because they're lazy losers.
You love ending it with just staring into the camera, just the heat vision there, you know?
You're fake people.
Oh, boy. Okay, so let's see what we got up next. We're done with the entertainment portion there.
Do you remember, I don't know why, I think someone should bring this back. There used to be a show in the 80s. It was with, it was WWF. It was the best. It was
that's not up my alley.
Well, that's okay, but I got to tell you about the show. It was like an offshoot talk show that what the hell's that guy's name? Bobby the Ventura? Not Ventura. Bobby the Body Heenan or something. He used to do a show like this, and he would bring guests on. It was like a Johnny Carson show.
Yeah.
But he would bring like guests, not in the WWF, but outside. But he had his own show, and he would turn his back to him, like disrespect his guests like this, and he'd ask him questions, like, and he'd cut him off. He goes, "Bring me another one." It was the best, and you should do that.
If I had a string of guests, maybe I would.
Oh, it was. They're all waiting out there, but I said, "You guys." By the way, you guys better just go home because there's no point. I'm staying here.
Bobby the Brain.
Bobby the Brain.
There you go. Zara. Zara of all people knew that.
All right, that's my girl. Or
by the way, no, yeah, Zara.
Girl.
Bobby the Brain Heenan or something.
Heenan. Bobby the Brain Heenan. He had like a talk show. Do you remember that? Zara?
Yeah, she's a warrior princess, for Christ. So she'll love that one, by the way. She will. By the way, your sister said everyone's getting one for Christmas, talking about the cutting board thing.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Surprise.
So you're going to like some of these. So it says an ethics commission, Florida mayor sought sex in exchange for neighborhood speed bumps.
I'm trying to I need this ethics commission.
Yeah.
Florida mayor sought sex in exchange for neighborhood speed bumps.
Yeah, so a neighborhood was requesting speed bumps, and as a pay-for-play type scheme, he was saying, yeah, but you got to have sex with me, right? So essentially, the roads had to be ribbed for...
Now, is that a real?
Yeah, it's a real headline.
No.
Yeah.
It's not like The Onion or something?
No, it's The Blaze.
Oh. Well, same thing. No, but hey,
I gotta make my chair lean back because I keep on throwing my head back too.
No. But real quick, I'm just wondering, could it be a Democrat? Let's see.
I couldn't find out.
Oh.
I searched through article after article to find out.
Be.
If it here's the thing. This is this is serious when I look into things, right? If I try to find out if someone's a Democrat or Republican, no lie, it works every single time. If multiple news sources report on it and it's blasting a person for doing something wrong,
then you know the Democrat.
If they don't ever mention what they are, it turns out to be a Democrat. Right. If it's a Republican, they immediately say Republican from, and they do that all the time.
Don't they do that? Don't they do that with a lot of things?
Absolutely,
That's just the way it is.
So that's a quick story. It's kind of funny down in Florida. Well, it's not funny that he's actually doing it.
You're a fake mayor.
But at the same time, this leads into my next article here, which is from I Effing Love Science, right?
Oh, God. Oh, that is...
They're horrible on politics, but
my gosh.
I like finding things on here.
No. You know what's great?
Yeah.
I'm going to start hashtagging I Effing Love Science, and I'm going to bring up every scientific call that they made in the last 20 years
that's been wrong.
Oh,
absolutely.
It will never end.
Yeah. But here's, according to the headline on their site, Republicans and Democrats have very different sexual fantasies.
You know what? Did you?
Everything I go over in the podcast, I typically
I looked at
post.
it and said, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I don't really even want to know, but go ahead.
It says... assistant professor of social psychology at Ball State University, Indiana.
No pun intended.
For his latest book, asked 4,175 adults from California to South Carolina, what turns you on? And volunteers were asked to confess how often they fantasized about certain people, places, and things, from masochism to Barack Obama.
Well, I could tell you that makes me soft.
So
they tried to reach somebody at Schlong State. Nobody was there.
Yeah, exactly. So it says this is. We'll jump to the Republicans first, and then we'll talk about the Democrats.
Okay, I can't wait.
I find it interesting on both fronts. Okay,
this is scary.
So it says, take the Republican fantasy of infidelity, for example. The GOP runs on a platform of idolizing the nuclear family and consequently traditional notions of marriage. This means activities like extramarital affairs, orgies, and partner swapping, whether that be the key parties of the 70s or their 2018 equivalent, are strictly off limits, and that makes them exciting. It may also explain why there are more Republicans and Democrat members of Ashley Madison, the dating service, that for people already in relationships. So go ahead with your thoughts on that first.
I totally agree.
So they're saying, by and large, when they look at the Republicans and ask them these questions about fantasies, they're fantasizing about cheating on their partners. You know? So.
I don't get it.
Why?
So basically,
not that I'm agreeing with it. I'm just asking why.
I'm confused as to. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm confused as to. I mean,
these are just fantasies. They're not actually acting out on things.
Okay, so I thought that Anthony Weiner was a Democrat.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I mean, there's. You're gonna
so what
have,
are they fantasizing
You're gonna have
about?
examples.
Being with like. An Amish girl, like one. I don't know. Okay,
I actually think this is perfect. I don't understand. So what they're trying to say here is that Republicans fantasize about things that the opposite of what they stand for, because it's kind of like the forbidden fruit. Is essentially what they're saying, right? Yeah. So you would think that the same would apply to the Democrat side,
right?
And I think that they really try to get that across in their points and everything, but it falls apart because I think it's exactly what the Democrats probably fantasize about. But wait until you hear the biased language from I Effing Love Science on how they present this, right?
Yeah.
So it says, in contrast, it's going to make you throw up. The Democrats are a party that strives for greater social, economic, and political equality, and yet they fantasize about masochism, bondage, and dominant submission play. Right? And I thought to myself, well, if you love socialism and communism, that is bondism of society.
That's right.
So how that fits exactly with their narrative.
Yep. You look at Hitler, you look at Stalin, you look at Mussolini, you look at Mao. It's all the same.
Socialism and communism have killed more people on this planet than any other thing.
That's right.
Yep, by a long shot.
That and Creed albums.
That's true too. Well, you can't count suicides towards. So, Alyssa Milano.
Oh my gosh, you had me cracking up. You're like, I can't stand her or her hot face.
Yeah. I know. Shut up with your hot face.
She was my favorite growing up. Like,
oh yeah, who's the boss, right?
Yes. I was like, I'm the boss, baby. But I had a giant poster of her by my bed. I did. Alyssa Milano right next to Duran Duran and INXS. I don't know.
Oh, there you go.
Yes. But I liked her the best.
So Alyssa Milano, she's been kind of at the forefront of the Me Too movement, of the women's marches and stuff like that, and annoying as hell.
Yep.
Right. So she has now come out and said that after supporting the women's march for so long, she's now disavowing them because
I disavow.
Yeah. Now that they're supporting.
Oh wait, she's disavowing them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't give her too much credit for that. My wife does. She's like, well, at least she's disavowing them now. It may have taken some time.
Time out. She's disavowing the women's what?
March.
All right. So what is that?
The leadership, more essentially. I don't think she disagrees with the actual march itself. What she's disavowing is the leadership of the women's march that have supported people like Louis Farrakhan and I don't know. She didn't specifically say anything about Linda Sarsour, but it's coming out now, all this anti-Semitism stuff that's being said by either the leadership itself or
the leadership of what? The women's?
The women's march, yeah. Linda Sarsour is one of the main leaders of the women's march.
Okay.
And she is all for Sharia law in the United States, supports Louis Farrakhan and the crazy crap that he says.
So Alyssa Milano is disavowing them because of their associations with
anti-Semitism. Yeah.
Well,
so
how about anti-feminism?
Oh, absolutely. I mean this is a topic we cover all the time.
You know?
Yeah, today's feminism is more about hating the opposing sex or anything like that.
It was yesterday too, though.
No, I think that the root
if they want to march,
feminism.
They can march to the kitchen and make me a sandwich.
That sandwich ain't gonna make itself, honey.
Oh no! I was gonna say something else. I'm like, what do you say?
Kept it clean.
What do you say to a woman with one black eye?
No, two black eyes.
Oh, whatever.
You didn't learn your lesson the first time. That's a bad joke. That's a bad joke. Can't believe you said that.
You're fake news.
What did she say here? Feminazis. Yeah, I think that the feminist movement had great roots in the beginning and everything. But you know what? Here, to go back on what we've been talking about with Candace Owens, the Red Pilled America podcast, and black votes and everything, and then move over to the feminism and women's equality and stuff like that. There's a great video that I just posted on the page that you guys can go and actually find. It's from Prager University talking about the Republican Party and what they've done for those movements, for the civil rights of minorities in the country and the women's suffrage and stuff like that. That was all done by Republicans with an absolute majority and an absolute minority of Democrats that supported those things. And just the racist leadership of Johnson at the time.
He was the worst.
Woodrow Wilson in his time.
Oh, he was bad too.
Who was the Jesse Owens, right? The runner in the Olympics
jumper,
and everything.
Yeah.
Was it Franklin Roosevelt in his time?
Yes.
He invited all the Olympians to the White House except for Jesse Owens.
Oh, Franklin D. Roosevelt was wasn't he a Klan member? Or
No, I don't think so. I don't know. But the
I think he
Democrats
was
have always
an
been
Antifa.
racist. Yeah, maybe.
I always mix them up.
Yeah.
He was something like that. I remember him marching a lot before he couldn't walk anymore. I remember
Your sister's upset with your feminism jokes.
Oh, God. Go make me a sandwich, Rachel.
So you're going to, oh man, we're going to get into some topics here that I think you're going to be laughing about even harder. So here's a guy. What was that, Chris Collinsworth there? Here's a guy.
Oh, God. I hate him too, for other reasons.
It says, the headline is this: man, 69, sues to lower his age 20 years. He's like, can you change your gender? Well, why not your age?
It's never going to end, and he's got a good point.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's asinine, but it's a good point because why not?
Yeah.
If you keep on running with this, the thing that...
Well, by the way, Alyssa Milano.
Shut up with your hot face.
Right now, I identify myself as your lover. I'll be there in about 2 hours.
So
I'm just joking.
This is kind of all, for me, this is a conversation. I don't know if we discussed this last week or not, but when my wife and I were talking about the regret of surgery, transgender surgery and everything, right?
Right.
So, and what's been going on with that? And I think it was either last week that I mentioned this, or it's just something I've been bringing up with people. It's this whole slippery slope argument, right? Where when gay marriage was being discussed and everything, and the slippery slope argument was if we go forward with that, which I'm okay with it now. Like I don't care as long as
you've been desensitized.
As long as you don't. It's not even that. It's like I just don't care. I've become more libertarian where I don't care what you do with your life as long as it doesn't affect me, which goes into the slippery slope argument of if you're going to do it, don't force us as Christians to cater to that wedding in any way.
But see,
and they're like, oh no, we're not going to do that. What happens? Of course they start doing it. Bakers, wedding venues and stuff like that. Right. They're getting sued all over the place by these people who said, we're never going to do that type of thing. But they're specifically sought out. People travel over 80 miles past other bakers to make a point to sue these people and everything.
Chris, this is the problem with all of socialism, which is just communism. It all goes one direction and it never stops. The train never stops rolling. I mean, you look at our country from 20 years ago and it's a polar, I don't want to say opposite, but it's, we've gone down that road at mass speed. It's like, how did we get this far so quickly? It's unbelievable to me.
Yeah. So we go into transgenderism, right? Yeah. And okay, you should be allowed to identify with whatever you are, right?
Yeah.
And then what happened right after that? We had people like Rachel Dasnell, right? The woman who is white, who is found to be running an NAACP chapter out in Seattle or something like that, or Portland, one of those leftist cities. Yeah. Who tanned like crazy and perms her hair to look black, and she got away with it for so long until like people found out she was whiter than the whitest person.
Same thing happened with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, and they didn't give him hell either.
Yeah.
But so then you had that, right? And then there was a story that we covered last year on the podcast of this like guy in his 60s that identified as a 6-year-old girl and was adopted by these parents in Canada and everything.
Someone adopted him?
Yeah, to raise him as a 6-year-old girl.
Wait a minute, what?
I swear to God, yes. Yeah. So on top of that, my question to everyone is, if we are obligating and compelling society to, in a lot of cases under law, describe you by the thing that you identify with, whether it's a pronoun or an adjective or something like that, right? The people identify as dogs now and stuff. Like crazy crap is going on.
I love my dogs, though.
But in this case, like in California and Canada, if you misgender someone, you could serve jail time. Like, that's crazy stuff. That's fascism right there.
That's the Magna Carta.
Yeah. So when we're talking about this kind of stuff,
that was a joke.
Yeah.
Don't continue to
I'm
talk.
trying. I don't want to lose my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
And I just did.
No, you were talking about prosecuting people for calling out the wrong gender to people.
Yeah.
So that didn't bring you back? Okay.
But, my point being, though, if we're compelling people to do this, in cases like where if you're going to lower your age, right?
Yeah.
From anyone over the age of 18 to then identify as someone under the age of 18, you no longer have to pay taxes. If people are compelling...
Wait, I am for this.
I know. Right?
I identify as...
If the government is compelling you to identify people as what they say they are, then the government would also have to be compelled to treat that person like they're asking to be treated. And if you're going to compel someone to identify someone as being under the age of a taxpayer, then you can't go after them. But you know damn well the IRS would go after anyone. They don't care. It's all about ruling over the people and not playing by the same rules.
Right.
That got away from all the transgenderism stuff because that's a topic that we've just beat to death with all that stuff, all this like slippery slope stuff. But in cases like this, where the article is literally talking about a guy that's changing his age and everything and identifying as a younger person, that kind of situation actually comes up in regards to how the government interferes with that then.
Yeah.
It's bat crap crazy is all I'm saying.
Well, yeah. I mean, but I think everything that the new Democratic Party and the new left does is bat crap crazy. Everything. Yeah. Everything. From soup to nuts, nothing makes sense. And it's funny to watch. Most people just follow that. There has to be some good people that still vote Democrat because they just, I don't know how you can be in this day and age and not want to see both sides or not use your own common sense or not be able to use critical thinking or I don't understand, but there must be some of them.
I think you should take comfort in your concerns on that by what just happened in the midterm election. And we'll talk about that more, but if we were that concerned about how crazy the whole left has gotten, it would have been a blue wave, and it wasn't. I think there's a lot of people in the middle ground that are actually showed up in the midterm election to say, hey, you know what? Like, our side needs to tone it down too, because this is getting crazy. People on the left.
So I'm thinking, I don't think we need to tone it down at all. I don't. I think it's about
the
time.
left or the right.
The right.
I think that it's blown out of proportion on the right as far as how the right is acting up, because we've seen for over a year now Trump supporters beating up liberals, and it turns out to be fake stories.
Of course it is.
They're all fabricated. But Antifa shutting down Portland and beating on people in the streets is actually happening.
Yeah. Well, see, this is the problem, though, is that you're going to have this is exactly how this is how Hitler came to power.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's fake explosions and burnings and blame it on this person, blame it on that person. It's very easy to do, That's all it is. It's just a bunch of
staged. You control the narrative, you control the story.
Yeah, and
of everything.
They're controlling everything,
Speaking of controlling things.
Yeah.
This is according to the Daily Wire. Girl Scouts are suing the Boy Scouts over leaving boy out of their name. So I'm sure you've been listening to the podcast long enough to know that there was this girl who wanted the Boy Scouts to allow girls into it. And we were like, this better not happen. And instead of taking a long time to happen, it was months, and they allowed girls in, right? So then that happens.
Oh, there's no more Boy Scouts?
No. No. So not only did that happen, but then the Boy Scouts had to have a reorganization meeting.
What about Lee Blows?
Yeah. But they dropped boy from the name, and now it's just Scouts, right? Mm-hmm. Well, the Girl Scouts leadership got really upset over it because they're like, why are they doing that? If girls want to do this kind of stuff, they have the Girl Scouts to do it in, right? And it's taking membership away from them.
Right.
But,
I love it.
But the whole overall argument at the time was, listen, you have girls that want to be in the Boy Scouts because the Boy Scouts do activities and things that the Girl Scouts don't do. So instead of trying to change the format and programming of their own organization that they belong to, they decide that they want to embarge on the Boy Scouts and change their makeup of things, right? Instead of actually changing their own crap over here. And then what happens? You get all these girls leaving to go over to the Scouts now, and the Girl Scouts are lacking, and the Girl Scouts are pissed off for good reason, I think. And I agree with them, you know? So,
well, I mean, yeah. I mean, so boys are allowed to be in the Girl Scouts?
Girls are allowed to be in the Boy Scouts.
Right, but are boys allowed to
be? Yeah.
All I can say
this is honestly.
All I can say is I am accepting of everything because of Thin Mints, basically.
Yeah, true.
They're good.
Yeah. So well, you won't find Thin Mints being sold in the Boy Scouts yet. I'll be honest with you. I think that the overall agenda is just to destroy things that are masculine centered.
It's that, and it's to destroy the family. Really, it all comes down to that. Because they just want followers, and they want people that are they want more snowflakes. They're all part of the plan.
Feminization of masculinity in this country.
Yeah, but the feminists are becoming masculine. So I mean, like, where do you?
Yeah, but you know what's really interesting? I found really interesting lately is that the feminists are actually speaking out a lot against transgender women.
Wait.
Oh yeah.
The feminists.
There's a big movement in the feminist
speaking
movement.
out against transgender women.
So women that used to be men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's confusing for some people.
Well, no, because
So, in regards to, look, we post article after article all the time of transgender women blowing away competition in women's sports.
Oh, yeah. I see
all
that,
the time. You know? And it's like...
There goes Cindy in the javelin. Oh, look at her sack fell out of the bottom of her shorts. She's awesome.
Oh, man. But, you know, it's crazy about that is the fact that, like, I don't know, you just...
Her sack fell out of the bottom of her shorts.
It just goes to show, there's a reason. There's always been a reason why those two genders have been separated for sports and everything, or sexes, I guess you could say, for sports. And that's because we have a different physical makeup. And yeah, there's some anomalies out there. There's exceptions to the rule and everything where a female can blast a guy out of a sport, right?
Like cooking.
Running, yeah. Cooking,
right.
yeah. Cooking is
competitive
great.
Cooking?
Yeah. Competitive cleaning, ironing, the Canadian iron boarding. But so...
Oh my gosh.
So, but by and large...
I just got my ass handed to me in crocheting.
Yeah.
The hell? She's done with that Afghan already. I got no chance.
I'm over here with half an oven mitt.
Oh well, I'm gonna wait for my participation trophy.
Yeah. So, but you have these transgender women blowing the competition now, you know, with women and wrestling, running, like all this stuff. And it honestly, I think feminists have a reason to be pissed off about that because, you know,
they opened up the gate.
They did.
And this is just, they should learn from this experience. We should just learn from the ridiculousness of their cause.
Liberalism.
Yeah.
Overall.
It's just
the
dumb.
umbrella of
It's just
liberalism
dumb.
or progressivism.
Like there's things that women do better and there's things that guys do better.
Absolutely.
For the most part.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that women does not do better is driving through a parking lot at a grocery store. That is the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. Why can't you go under 70? It makes no sense. They just drive through there and usually in like a giant SUV, I'm like thinking, oh my God. This is just like, it's the scariest thing known to man. Besides a Creed album.
Oh, Lord. We'll just move on to the next topic. I'm afraid to go into this.
Oh, go into it now.
Long time no see is reportedly deemed offensive at colleges. Why? It's derogatory towards Asians. So let's get into it. A columnist for the Rocky Mountain Collegian wrote on Sunday that she had a meeting with Colorado State University's push for inclusive language with a diversity and inclusion official. said the director of diversity and inclusion at Associated Students of Colorado State University showed her an entire packet of words and phrases that were deemed non-inclusive. One of the offending phrases was "long time no see." And what exactly was wrong with the phrase? She learned it's viewed as derogatory to those of Asian descent. According to her, it also said that even though she believes that inclusive language is important at CSU, I'm not going to try and change them, but educate them. It's a good response. And I say that because in regards to abortion, I was recently told, commented on one of my articles that the Republicans have had control and they've never done anything about Roe v. Wade and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And I agree. Listen, I would love to see Roe v. Wade overturned, but the kind of animosity that would go with that type of action, I think we need to build up to something like that. And the only way to do it is through education. I really do believe that. Like we've gone for decades now of people believing that abortion is a type of birth control, mm-hmm. that there's nothing wrong with it, that it's not a human being in there or anything, and dehumanizing it and turning it into just a quick medical procedure that won't cause any harm at all, whether that be physical or emotional. And we've grown up on that and have generations kind of backing that up now. Yeah. We need a re-education showing like the physical harm, the emotional distress it causes and everything, and build up a new generation of people that would be willing to overturn Roe v. Wade.
See, that's why a lot of these feminists were up in arms about
Kavanaugh.
No, about women going in for an abortion and them showing them a video of what the procedure is.
Yeah, absolutely.
They should be forced to watch that.
I agree with that.
Why not? That's only fair to the woman.
It's only fair to the baby, for crying out loud.
But I mean, like, you should, and yes, I believe that it has to be you have to do it little by little.
Yeah.
And I believe in the education part, but where's the education going to come from?
That's the unfortunate part.
Because I mean, who's going to do that?
I don't know.
I mean, who are we going to rely on to? Who's on our side?
Unfortunately, the left has done a great job in a bad way of speaking of infiltrating public
who's done
education.
An awful job about teaching people about the dangers of abortion? The Christian Church.
Yes, absolutely.
They've done a horrible job. You want to see somebody who's done a great job? The Catholic Church. Done a great job. Chris?
On abortion?
Yes. Yep.
The new Pope wouldn't have much to say on that.
No. I'm talking in the past.
Yes.
In the past.
I think you're going to run into some Catholic churches that have the wrong ideas on abortion, too.
Yeah, okay, so I meant the actual, what is Vatican. It called? The papacy?
Yeah, okay.
Or the Vatican.
Are you Catholic?
No.
Yeah, you were, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little,
Okay.
I'm,
Sorry, Nancy.
What?
She's watching.
Oh, she's not Catholic. So.
I know. She used to pull on her friend's hair in class, on her own hair, and blame it on her friend in high school. About?
Like they know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, that's a running joke between her and her mom.
But anyway, my point is that, where's the education going to come from? It's not going to come from anywhere but the church, but the church needs to start talking about it and taking a stand and not worrying about it.
That's not the only thing they need to take a stand on, but it's a big one.
Well,
it's I think, one of the most important. Absolutely.
What else is there?
It all stems from it. You can't talk to people if you're aborting them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
We had our own clashes with it in our previous church.
Right.
I hate to say it because I know people
should
tune
Jim
in.
Acosta have been aborted?
You know what drives me nuts is I actually saw a bumper sticker.
I like how you avoid that one.
No, because this goes right along with it. It's even worse than that.
Yeah.
I saw a bumper sticker that one time that was on a liberal's car that said, would you still abort the baby if you knew they were going to be gay or a lesbian? Or still save them or whatever, you know? And I'm like, two completely different issues. Like, I'm not going out killing the LGBT community or anything. Yeah, I would save them. If that's you want to hear an answer, yeah, I would save every single one.
I see. I thought they were going.
Would you save the baby if it was going to be LGBT?
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's so horrible.
It's ridiculous. I don't know anybody that hates gay people or that.
I really don't either.
It's ridiculous. I don't know anybody that hates black people.
I ran into one and it was a bad situation.
I don't know anybody.
I had to remove myself from the situation because it was so bad.
Well,
yeah.
You know,
but you know what?
All that stuff could have gone away if and Obama could have did it.
I agree. He divided this nation more than anyone else.
He's an instigator. He's a what was he? A community activist, or what do they call them? Organizer, community organizer.
Yep. I agree, Rachel. She said, going back to something that was said a few minutes ago, I have to disagree when we use language like all liberals are. I think there are extremes on both sides, but to say all isn't fair. And there's more to the comment here. But
good.
She goes on.
So, so what I said has gotten you typing. That was my objective.
Here's the thing, Rachel, is that I agree, but at the same time, I think we've talked about, like, where are those middle of the road Democrats and everything, right? And they're out there, but they just don't let their voice be heard because they're drowned out by the crazies. And when we talk about the liberals or the progressives or the socialists or whatever, we're talking about those crazy people that keep on making the headlines, you know? At least I am.
Okay, so I do agree on that. That the fringe on both sides is always the thing that's highlighted. And of course, then they go, oh, well, look it. You know, it's an easy target. Unfortunately, I honestly don't see anybody on the right, because you can't even look at the Klan and say, I don't even know if the Klan exists anymore. I'm sure it does somewhere, but you can't say that the Klan is a right-wing organization. It's as left as you can go. People don't even know this.
Richard Spencer and stuff like that. What the alt-right people that showed up in Charlottesville and everything.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, he's like the top white nationalist or something like that. Like the real racist people that showed up in
Tanya Spencer.
No, the people like that showed up in Charlottesville that are associated with the right, which they somehow either fundamentally don't understand that alt-right means alternative to the right, or they know it and they just try to push this agenda. But the fact of the matter is, these people believe in a large centralized government that imposes its will on a bunch of people according to the belief system that they have. You can't get more progressive liberal than that. It's socialism. That's communism.
Well,
it's a centralized government.
Right.
It's the exact opposite of what conservatives and libertarians stand for.
So it sounds to me that there's always going to be those couple people that want to align themselves with the right and do things to give us a bad name.
Yes, absolutely.
Because that's all it is. Because
it's like the Westboro Baptist Church claiming to be Christian.
Which one's that?
The people that protest at funerals of soldiers and stuff like that.
Was that the I Hate?
God Hates FAGs.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's the one I meant.
Yeah, they're horrible people.
So where are they from? Denver or something, or Colorado?
Westboro Baptist. Westboro. Is it Connecticut? I don't know.
West Allentown?
Who knows?
No, but that's exactly it. You're going to have
crazies out of line.
Yes, and the bottom line is that the people. I understand that there's people that are Democrats that aren't awful people. I can't think of many. And I got to tell you, you have to be mentally sick to vote that way. You have to, and know what it represents. Rachel.
She better not vote Democrat.
No, I'm not saying anything. Let her stand up for her rights.
Rachel, you've been watching my show for quite some time and following my stuff.
Rachel has an Obama tattoo on her arm. It says, "Yes, we can."
I thought it was right here.
Oh, well, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
Oh, your mom's going to kill me. She's watching it too. All right. This is kind of funny. So over the last couple of years, your stupid Starbucks has been under pressure.
Your stupid Starbucks.
By the way, so tell the quick story. I have personally boycotted Target because of their policies, and and I'm not a big fan of Starbucks because they're as liberal as it gets. So what did you do the one day?
The one day? Oh, well, him and I talk all the time on the phone. We've been doing what we're doing in front of the camera every week and a couple times a week sometimes since 2008. So, it's funny because, I'm talking to him about, all these crazy policies and how the world's going to hell in a handbasket. And I'm like, listen, I got to go. I'm in the parking lot at Target. I got to run in and get my coffee from Starbucks. And he thought that was the funniest thing. And I think it's funny, too.
I was like, that's like a double negative. It might be a positive.
I personally, and I'm being very honest, I like the bathroom policy at Target and Starbucks because I never have to wait in line. I hate waiting. When you got to pee, there is no worse feeling than really having to pee and having to wait. It's the worst.
So you just run into the women's bathroom and go?
Well, look, I don't know about that whole Target thing, but at Starbucks, inside the Starbucks, it's just it's only room for one. Like you're not going to have so it's great. They really eliminated that. It says, girl or guy or handicapped in this one, girl or guy handicapped.
Do you identify as? Oh, never mind.
I do. I have a handicap, but it's only in golf. But
wow, that was a dad joke right there.
one handicap. No, but the thing about it is that it's great.
That's still one of my favorite videos.
What's that?
I thought you guys were making fun of my one video where I talked about Leslie saying I laughed like the Count.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Was that the last?
Yeah, and it was all over dad jokes. No,
dad joke. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So Starbucks has been in the news over the last couple of years because of it's obviously a leftist policy of staying away from Christmas, like getting out of the Christmas Christ-centered type stuff and everything. And they used to have these cups that were kind of Christmassy cups and everything.
What, like trees?
Yeah, just Christmas, celebrating Christmas in any kind of way. Like, I'm not talking about putting Jesus on the cup or anything like that. They just stayed away from it and completely stayed away.
Jesus Vente.
Last year they did their coloring cup. Like, they gave you some markers to color your own cup and stuff. I swear to God. So this year...
That sounds eco-friendly.
This year says Starbucks goes big on Christmas with the unveiling of 4 red and green holiday cups after customers said they loved the tradition of Christmas. So after all this backlash of them not celebrating Christmas or like getting in the Christmas spirit, because of the backlash, they're going completely in the opposite direction and throwing out 4 different types of Christmas cups.
Is there any Kwanzaa cups?
Not yet. Blue with little dreidels on them and Kwanzaa, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. What are you talking? Oh, you're talking about
Jewish.
Oh, Passover.
Passover, yeah.
Is that Passover? No, that's not Passover.
It's Hanukkah.
Hanukkah. That's the proper pronunciation. All those Jews, they say it wrong.
Oh my gosh.
Hanukkah.
You probably had a big cup of coffee.
Earlier. Yeah. And it was made at home.
Riding that wave, the brown wave.
No, it was mad. This is disgusting. I had it at home, or I took it with me to work.
Yeah.
Jenna made it.
You work?
I do.
You're conservative.
Yes. But I work for a nonprofit, and our nonprofit status basically pays me very little. I make $250 a week, which basically means that the man has kept me down, and they forced me to work at this nonprofit.
By the way, when's the last time you had a good cheeseburger?
Why? I eat meat.
You told me you don't eat meat.
Well, depends on the day. I'm a vegetarian.
You give me hell every time I talk about eating meat.
No, it's just the way you go overboard. What? And every time I look at this, is that what it's supposed to be?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That's what I was thinking. Look at that one.
Yeah, so I just don't like the way animals are treated at factory farms.
I agree with that. Like, listen.
I always tell you, I said, I need
just back up a little bit. You're really encroaching on my space here.
So listen. I could hear your stomach growling.
Yeah, I know. It has been. We're just going to skip this article.
You're like, can you just stay in my...
Yeah. You're
in your
safe
space
over here, yeah. Okay, so when we're talking about getting into politics here, not the main topic, but this is according to CNBC. This was just reported on about a couple hours ago.
Who did this?
CNBC. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, 85 years old, breaks ribs in fall. She broke 3 ribs, I think, falling in her office. And she's recovering on that right now. And in all seriousness, I don't want to joke about this at all, but, I posted on my page, like, seriously, I pray for a speedy, healthy recovery on it and everything. I think that she is too old to be in this position, and it's putting undue amount of stress on her, especially at that age and everything.
I just like how you're just thinking about her, which is really nice. I like that.
Well, listen, like, I went on to multiple different articles today looking at how people were reacting to this news.
We just care about her health. Retire.
I really do. Yeah, I really do. Like, you know, you were a Scalia fan. First of all, when Scalia died, you called me immediately, and it was in the primaries, and you said, did you hear what just happened? I said, no, what? And you were like, Scalia died. And it was like radio silence there for a couple minutes because it was just like crazy. That's what made me vote for Trump at first, that first election, you know? And
how'd that work out?
I'm pretty happy.
Damn right.
But Scalia and Ginsburg had a really good friendship between them. That was a very big thing that he always talked about, that she's talked about. She was really upset at his death and everything. And so there's obviously something there. She's a legend in what she does with differing opinions on what we have and everything. But she's a person. I don't want to see someone getting hurt.
See, Chris,
unlike the left.
I know. See, that's the problem. It's always us keeping our mouths shut, being nice, being the bigger person, let people slap us around. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it.
We'll talk about that a little bit.
I am tired of it, Chris.
A little bit more.
Chris,
but
I'm tired of it.
But here's the thing. Like, when I went into the comments section, I saw people on the right saying, time to retire. Here comes another Supreme Court justice from Trump.
We've been pushed too far.
I know, Chris, that we have.
That's why Trump's in office.
I get it. But then you go on to BuzzFeed, or you go to MSNBC, or any of the leftist ones that are posting this article, and you see people on the left going, I would give up my ribs and my organs to her just to have her keep going. Right? That's on the lighter side of things. That's the lighter side of things.
Right.
Then you have people saying, I bet you Trump tripped her in her office, or Kavanaugh did it, or some right winger. And it's like, you know, we always consistently talk about the lack of civility in this country, which I do honestly believe was a wedge that was just ripped this country apart with Obama, and how he treated everyone as unequal with each other and like divided us so much further.
Obama,
I know it's
though,
not just him, but he started this trend.
They're all elitists.
Yes, they are.
This is a trend that has been started.
But if we're talking about incivility, that we need civility in this cultural environment with politics and everything, that we need to at least come together and try to work together.
We're heading towards something that's not civil.
It's not. No, it's not. And then both sides complain about the lack of civility.
I don't want to quote
but no one tries to
I don't want to
remedy
quote
it.
Axl Rose right now, but what's so civil about war anyway? So the bottom line is that, yeah, unfortunately we're going towards something, but I'm just glad that I'm on the side with the gun.
That's what always gets me. I'll be real honest with you. Like, one portion of the country is picking a fight with the portion of the country that supports guns and has them.
I know.
Like,
if I gotta get in a fight with another guy, I hope that never happens, that I have to be fighting with a fellow American.
Yeah.
But if I do, I prefer him to be wearing a one-piece romper. It just makes it easy.
Isn't it, in all seriousness, isn't it amazing?
And Tom's,
that we have over 300 million guns in this country registered.
I know,
right?
And half of them are to you.
Yeah, I know. Well, 3/4. But isn't it amazing that there are that many legal gun owners in this country? Doesn't that show the amount of restraint that you would figure, if you went by the left's narrative, that we would be having mass shootings every single day, all the time?
And I feel really bad about...
And it's never legal gun owners that are doing it, for the most part.
Of course it isn't. And it's never... Sorry, it's never Republicans. Very rare.
Yeah, it is rare.
And, you had the soldier with PTSD. I think that was horrible. That's a different kind of case.
Yeah. And that was a hard thing to hear, because I think that we overall, as a country, as a culture here in America, have let down our veterans on the kinds of services that they need.
You're right, but I think we're going in the right direction. I think we have a president that recognizes these things, and he's getting a lot done. It's him. He certainly doesn't have the help of Paul Ryan. Yeah. Paul Ryan, I think I like Schumer better than Ryan. At least I know who
He's
Schumer
horrible.
was. I know who Schumer is.
Yeah,
he's the devil, but I know he's the devil. This Ryan is like the devil's prostitute.
Okay.
That's what I heard about him and Schumer. I don't know if it's a rumor, but something goes on behind it. After they have a couple fingers of whiskey, forget it. The night goes crazy.
So you had this crazy news about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, right?
Yeah.
And then you have Jeff Sessions resign today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what have you heard about this? Because I didn't get a chance to listen to anything.
So
today.
he resigned yesterday. It was an expected thing.
Okay. Because that came out of left field for me. I was like, holy crap.
They've been talking about it for months and months and months. And by the way, it was not even 9 months ago when Pocahontas came out and said that she wants, by the Pocahontas Elizabeth Warren, that she wants to, she says that Jeff Sessions should resign and that Trump should fire Jeff Sessions. This was 9 months ago.
Really?
Now the narrative has changed once again for political expediency on the left, where they think it's like that there's a national tragedy, and that Trump is trying to fire Sessions to get out of being investigated further with this whole Mueller thing, and which I'm sorry, but that is as phony as $3 bill. Everybody knows that. It's ridiculous.
This whole investigation into Russia collusion and everything has taken so long, with yielding no results at all.
It's the point.
Yeah, it keeps on dragging on. If there was even a shred of evidence to keep the taste buds of the left media and those against Trump satisfied, just for a little nugget here and there, they would have come out with something. Which just goes to show me like how asinine this whole investigation has been.
What's that? The Dirty Cortez.
Cortez? Oh, Alexandria Ocasio.
I always mix up Dirty Sanchez.
Yeah.
So, what's her name?
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Alexandria Cortez. She is coming out and saying that her first thing on her agenda is to go after Trump for his tax returns that he didn't disclose in 2015.
What would you do if you were Trump with the tax returns? Honest question.
First of all, I mean, you're asking someone who thinks all taxes are immoral.
True. I agree with you. Yeah.
But in terms of what would I do, probably exactly what he's doing. I would use the extent of the law to keep those things out of people's hands, because I don't feel they should be disclosed. People shouldn't be taxed to begin with. So I guess
I'm looking at it from all angles right now, and with the Democrats taking the House again, right? I think what would be really funny and in the favor of Trump is they would mount this I guess wave. I don't know. They would mount this opposition to Trump and just make it their main objective to go after him for his tax returns. Like that's going to be their biggest thing, right? Like Ocasio-Cortez. And I think let them all build it up.
She did the math. And she came up with a conclusion.
But here's the thing. Get them all to like dogpile on it and say, release your taxes. We're going to get you to release your taxes. If I were Trump, I would just come out and release my taxes and just be like, why was it such a big deal? Why? This was your main platform coming into taking control of the House. Here you go. Now what?
I know, but the point is that you can't give in to these people anymore. You can't do it. You can't. It needs to stop.
I guess to me it's like
you keep on giving candy to a kid all day long because they're gonna cry. You just say no. You're not getting candy.
No,
tough.
I'm supposed to do.
Sorry.
Thanks a lot. Now I gotta go through and edit things.
Oh,
goes on the radio.
On. Everybody does it.
So, were you a Jeff Sessions fan?
So from what I hear from high level sources, is that he was a pretty good man, and he was an upstanding man. He was someone who a lot of the people that admire Trump admire him. They just said that they clashed right from the beginning. Yeah, and I don't think he was a good fit for the job. That would be the best way to put it.
You hear who they're considering, possibly?
For what job?
For Jeff Sessions' job.
Oh, Cortez. No. Who?
Starts with a C, surprisingly enough.
Clinton?
No. Well, a little guy from New Jersey. Little. Big. Fat.
Uh-oh.
Christie.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out.
He's got thick skin in more than
Christie?
one way. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he took on the teachers' unions. But that's really the only good thing he did out there. He was a bad Republican for the most part.
Well, there is no good Republican from Jersey. I don't know if you noticed the guy, Bob Hugan, who ran against...
yeah, I know.
Oh, my God. He ran against Trump as Republican. Yeah. I'm going to stand up to... I got confused. I saw his commercials. He was... Who's that?
Nothing.
Oh.
I'm just catching comments here if you guys want to say anything. But go ahead. No, I just said who tuned in. That's all.
Oh, I see my sister's writing things.
She left.
Did she leave?
Yeah, she had to go somewhere.
Take a hike. Good riddance.
So this is another one from Candace Owens. We were talking about her earlier. It says a young woman who attended our YBLS summit was released from her modeling contract when she got home for supporting @real Donald Trump and his administration. Political bias is discrimination. I'm appalled at these circumstances. So the email from this Ursula Weidman said, "Hey Zoe, the team has been..." No. First of all, they have no grammar or spelling skills at all.
Well, I'm going to say I will stick up for... I'm not going to stick up for this person, but I will say that I've seen some really bad...
agencies?
No, some really awful grammar with memes trying to support our president.
Yeah, no
and
kidding.
I'm like, just please don't say anything. Yeah. Please just stop. My Lord. I have this pet peeve and I hate it.
Yeah. I mean, people that make your side look stupid.
People are still stupider.
Yeah. It says, "Hey Zoe, the team has been talking about your political racist connections, and we have decided to release you from your contract. We are an agency based on love, acceptance, and inclusiveness, and your current public persona is not relative to our brand. Best of luck to you, Ursula."
See, everybody...
She's a good-looking girl, too. I mean, this is Candace. She's always good-looking, but she's good-looking.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, no doubt. She's a model,
Yeah.
So because she's part of this, see, it's okay to discriminate against conservatives or Christians or males or white males.
Oh,
that's okay.
More specifically, it's okay to be female, black, gay, lesbian,
right?
Anything that they support until you support the opposing opinion, political.
Yeah.
Opinion.
Here's the thing, though. It's going to separate. I mean, but see, look at what they do to black conservatives.
No, it's horrible.
Oh, how about this? Female conservatives.
Yeah.
Look what they do to them.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
They no longer are considered female.
Yep.
Black.
Yep.
What else is there?
Trump has surrounded
trying to think of all these little splinter
Trump
groups.
has surrounded himself with very strong conservative women.
Yeah.
Who's the...
That's all he's done. He is a...
Who's the blonde woman that was always going around for him, too? I sat in on one of her interviews. It was really
Miley
good.
Cyrus?
No. Kellyanne Conway.
Oh, yeah.
She's awesome. Her interview on Axios with the founder... she's nice. She did an interview with the founder of Axios, and I was
1 to 10.
Somewhere between 1 and 10. She did an interview with the founder of Axios, and I was there in the crowd for that, and she ripped him a new one, and he was such a horrible interviewer. But she is a bulldog when it comes to standing up for the principles and standing up for the administration. You have Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who goes on the front lines of this battle every single freaking day.
I just love that.
I don't know
woman.
how she does it.
You want to talk about tough?
Yeah, she's great. Candace Owens has been taking heat for quite a while now, and she doesn't back down to it at all. I think it's fantastic. Nothing says inclusiveness like a dismissal over points of view. That's from Gabe. Absolutely. Yeah. So best of luck to this Zoe girl. I think she's going to get picked up, and I think that now, hey, look.
I'd pick her up.
It's horrible. So you were talking earlier about one of your favorite Fox News personalities, Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, I love him.
So here is a clip of protesters outside of his house.
I haven't seen this.
Last night.
Tucker Carlson, we are outside your home to protest of fascism and racism. You promote hate that's led to an ideology that has led to thousands of people dying by the hands of the police, to trans women being murdered in the streets. Your policies promote hate, and we want you to know we know where you sleep at night.
Mailbox,
We know where you sleep at night.
we know where you sleep at night.
Wow. If you can, the resounding chorus of beta males.
What a bunch of Fruit
We know
Loops.
where you sleep at night.
Come on out with the tambourine.
Starting drum circles.
I
out there.
would hook up a microphone and just like keep on doing that. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Tucker Carlson, come on out, or we'll go in your yard.
Well, the scary thing is, first of all, this was Antifa, right? And his wife went and hid in another room because they apparently broke down the front door.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like this isn't just this crazy stupid crap that they were doing here. Like apparently they broke the door.
Us and our tambourine are coming in.
Yeah. it took 5 beta males to kick at the same time to equal your alpha male kick. But yeah, this is the kind of just absolute craziness that's allowed and tolerated on the left. And they're like, well, you know, he has a different opinion. So, I mean, obviously this is a freedom of speech on behalf of Antifa to say their opinion to him. No, it's not the same. You have the right to peacefully protest. I get it. But you're not doing it to a politician in this case. You're doing it to a media personality who has an opinion. That's what he does on a daily basis. Is
Where
just
does
his
Tucker
opinion.
Carlson live?
It must be New York.
Has to be one of those awful places.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's New York. There's
California.
Obviously, it's illegal to do these things in Portland. We already know that. Seattle.
Yep.
I'm trying to think
the
of
whole
all the
left coast.
Oh, he's not in California.
No, Tucker is in New York. I'm pretty sure.
But like, where was this? Like on the outskirts?
It looks like a pretty rich suburb. Yeah. It was a nice house.
He's on Fox.
Yes, yeah.
I guess it is New York, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Rockefeller area.
Yeah.
Times Square or whatever.
Maybe D.C.?
No, he's in New York. I don't know how many times I got to say this to you.
No, because it just doesn't seem logical.
Were you a fan of Jon Stewart on The Daily Show?
No.
No? Not
He's
at
a
all?
phony, too.
Did you like the guy before him?
No.
No.
I don't find that type of humor funny.
I think Jon Stewart was really good when he got on. And then him and Stephen Colbert got nasty, and it wasn't about humor anymor. It was about
their humor was never funny to me because
I think it
was never humor to something that's funny has to have an element of truth in it.
Yeah.
And when you're spewing out bullshit, sorry. Oh, come on.
I gotta edit that.
Why?
Because it goes on radio.
Oh, are you mad at me?
A little
Just
bit.
write the freaking number down.
So, Jon Stewart was interviewed with Dave Chappelle by Christiane Amanpour or whatever her name is. This talk about elitist journalist.
I don't even know who that is.
You will.
Wait a minute. She has something to do with Trump, right?
No. But wait until you hear what Jon Stewart had to say about the media's response to Trump. Okay.
So do you think, because obviously we're all caught up in this sort of daily Trump fest. I mean, every single newspaper, every radio station, every bit of social media.
You got to make money too.
Well, it's dissecting.
You got bills to pay, man. You got electric bills. You got food. You know, this guy he's giving you all cash. The cash flow in the Trump era for for these TV stations and for these...
Can I say that might have been an issue, and maybe it still is an issue for the people who are the bean counters, but we, the journalists, we, I think, believe that our job is to navigate the truth and to do the fact-checking and all the rest of it. So I think that's what motivates a lot of people.
But I think the journalists have taken it personally.
Okay,
they're personally wounded and offended by this man. He baits them, and they dive in, and what he's done well, I thought, is appeal to their own narcissism, to their own ego. Because what he says is, these are and the journalists stand up and say, we are noble, we are honorable, how dare you, sir? And they take it personally. And now he's changed the conversation to not that his policies are silly or not working or any of those other things. It's all about the fight. He's able to tune out everything else and get people just focused on the fight. He's going to win that fight.
You know, even Bob Woodward said that in his book on the Trump White House that a lot of journalists are too emotional about this. But it's hard for us to be dispassionate when words from the White House are aggressive against us and you know, raise the specter of violence against us.
Think of the communities.
No, we're used to it, believe me.
But think of the communities
We've been out there
color.
in the field.
Think of Muslims. Think of the black community. People. You know, when journalists rise to this outrage of how dare you say this about us, think of the lives that they've been leading under this and what they've been put under.
The bean counters. This woman's so elitist, it's unbelievable.
Like
but Jon Stewart made a really good point. Listen, the only thing that would have put you off in that interview right there was when he talked about Trump's policies being silly or not really doing anything good. But beyond that, Jon Stewart put a lot of wisdom out there in regards to how the press treats Trump, that they take things personally, that he's able to move the conversation away from what he's doing and focus the conversation on the fight between the media and him, and they fall for it. It's this baiting that Trump is phenomenal at. And we just talked about this last week in regards to Elizabeth Warren. She should never have taken that DNA test. She fell right into his trap. And then what did it prove? It proved that she's not Native American in the slightest. And she shot herself in the foot by actually finally caving into this
This is what
guy.
I mean, is those morons on the left are still going to vote for her.
Oh, yeah, you're never going to change the hardcore.
It doesn't
leftists.
matter.
Yeah.
You could be a mentally ill woman like Elizabeth Warren claiming to be a freaking Native American.
Yeah, I know you laughed over the cookbook, Pow Wow Chow.
Oh,
that's real, by the way.
That
she wrote a book called Pow Wow Chow.
She went so far with it.
Yeah.
And instead of people going, wow, this mentally ill woman wants to be the ruler of the free world, they're like, oh, yeah, sign me up. As long as she pushes socialism and communism. And she's a communist.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, you people are nuts. Anybody that votes for any of these people, you're crazy. There's no... You don't even understand what communism is. I have a buddy of mine that doesn't even talk to me anymore. I never offended him. I never I always kept him in his safe space. I invited him over to our house for Thanksgiving because his parents were going away and he had nobody to, you know. I tell everybody sitting with my whole family, hey, can we not talk about politics? It's gonna upset them, you know. So I mean, this is. Oh. Hello. You're on the air. Oh, shit. Anyway, I did everything to make sure that this friend of mine felt comfortable and had a place to go, and that we wouldn't bring up things to upset him, because I don't like talking about politics. That's why it's all pent up. I come out here and I just explode. But the thing is, I don't like to talk about it with people that get, edgy, or that get upset very easily. So I just did this whole thing, I put it all together. This guy, he just said, they're all the same. All Democrats are the same. They all have a negative attitude. They all are lazy. They think that they are owed something, and they think that the reason they don't have it is because a rich person took it away from them. And they believe in the dumbest stuff that you could possibly believe in. This guy has a copy of the Communist Manifesto on his coffee table, for goodness sake. Loves Elizabeth Warren. Loves Bernie Sanders. these are the people that were taught something from, and his dad's a school teacher. His dad's was my dad's best friend growing up. Your mom actually knows.
Really?
Yeah. So you have these kinds of people that, they have gone so far from anybody that thinks that anybody in the Democratic Party has any kind of affiliation or, sorry, my microphone, but any kind of bloodline from John F. Kennedy is crazy.
We talk about that all the time.
It's just,
John F. Kennedy would be considered a very good Republican today.
Yeah, and I really think this wing of the Democratic Party started with the New Deal.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you have to, if you go back, and they all hated Nixon. I wasn't a big Nixon fan, but he did some good things. He did, and I look back and it's like, why did you hate Nixon so much? He ended the frickin' Vietnam War. You guys were all these hippies were all about the, ending the war and stuff. You have Lyndon Johnson, who escalated the thing beyond all recognition. That's why Kennedy got shot. I think it was part of it.
So, moving on here, your favorite, Ocasio-Cortez.
Oh.
So she was doing a little interview on the doorstep of this one thing and was asked a question. Again, she's always asked this question: how are you going to pay for these types of programs that you keep on pushing? Because even the liberal reporters are like, this woman's crazy, because there's no plan. It would take us giving 100% in taxes and still wouldn't scratch the surface of paying for all these programs.
It's called communism, Chris.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Wait, before you play it, you're going to tell me that
she's cute. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. You're going to tell me that she is cute.
She is.
Yeah, she's.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah,
she's good looking, but she's dumb as a brick.
Yeah, yes. I think Hillary Clinton's hot, but that was a joke. All right, and then so what I was going to say was, now you're telling me that you said even liberals think she's nuts. The Democratic Party they're putting her to the forefront and making her a star. Yes. Her and Beto or Beta, whatever his name is.
They were. Yes. So we're going to get to all this when we talk about the midterm election results and everything. But she's one of 6 socialists avowed socialists that ran that won.
That's all that's going to be running this time.
Yeah, absolutely. But
they saw the trend with Bernie.
But the other 5 that were avowed socialists didn't win their seats. And I think that's because middle America on both sides of the aisle in the moderate sections are stepping up against these people. But she also, I don't think that she would have won anywhere but Brooklyn, maybe California and stuff.
What?
Brooklyn.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? She's in a blue area that whoever won that
blue area. And who the heck came up with the idea of giving the Republicans red? Red is for communists.
Yeah.
That should be on the Democratic side.
All right, let's take a look at what she had to say here.
So I have 10 big ideas that you have. I have my list.
Okay.
Okay, so can we go by one by one?
Let's do it.
All right. Okay, so number 10.
Countdown.
Medicare for all. Is it too expensive?
No. People often say, like, how are you going to pay for it? And I find the question so puzzling because how do you pay for something that's more affordable? How do you pay for cheaper rent? How do you pay for, you just pay for it. We're paying more now. So it's not that we're saying this whole system is free. It's saying it is free of cost at the point of service. So that means that you're not delaying going to the dentist. You're not, because you don't have the cash at the point of service.
I didn't even understand that.
I did. I guess it's just because I have to analyze these people all the time.
Okay.
But so she's saying that Medicare for all, how do you pay for something that's more affordable? It doesn't even make any sense. So you just pay for it. It's like, oh my gosh, someone please get rid of her.
I'd like to see. I'd like to see what her debt to ratio is with her credit cards.
Oh,
you just use the plastic. You don't have to pay for
There's
it.
There's like no money involved in this. It's just this card.
Just do it. You just do it.
So yeah, but her point being, the point of service is really the what you need to focus on in this conversation. The point of service is what she said, right? Which is, yeah, at the point of service, it's free. Absolutely, because you're paying out the wazoo in taxes up until the point of service. Huh?
Does that mean you get billed?
Well, you don't. Because if it's technically free, then you're not getting billed for that or the healthcare, for education or anything like that. But you're paying so much in taxes leading up to that. Yeah, at the point of purchase or the point of service or anything like that, of course it's going to be free, but you've paid for it 3 times over by that point. And we still don't have enough money to pay for these programs.
But you don't understand. It takes from the people that create jobs. So they can't create any more jobs.
Absolutely.
It's to shut this country down for people to be desperate and then go, oh my God, where's the answer? What are we going to do? We're starving.
Government's always the answer to those people.
I know, but it's not going to be like soft government. This is going to be hardcore, totalitarianistic government.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what
you want
they
our
are.
help now? Now we have some rules for you.
Yeah.
That you have to abide by.
No heck.
Yeah.
Here's a funny thought. Imagine this. Check this out.
Funny thought? I don't know.
Yeah, sort of scary, funny. 2020, the debates. Trump against Cortez in the presidential debate.
I think it's going to be Beto.
I think because he had such a good showing in such a red state, the most red state you could think of.
I know. That's what's scary to me. Because my retirement plan was to move to Texas, and now I'm reconsidering it.
Well, if he's running for president...
No, I'm saying if there's that little of a margin for a Republican to win, that Texas is turning bluish.
It's illegals and dead people.
I know there's an investigation.
20,000 times. You know it's all.
Governor Greg Abbott is investigating right now people that were busted in for the votes. But still, that would take a lot of votes to do that, to get that margin that close and everything. Austin's a scary place. My cousins are all in Austin and everything, and some of them, well, one specifically cousin has told me it's just crazy in Austin.
All you have to, I know, it's liberal.
Yeah.
I know, because I hear about it from my boy Alex Jones all the time. Don't dismiss him.
Oh, man. All right.
He loves you too, Chris.
Yeah.
He's a good man.
How about this? The New Jersey governor just signed a law allowing Cory Booker to run for both the Senate and the presidency in 2020. It's something like, I have to look it up here. Let me see here.
Well, if I don't win one, I'll get the other.
Yeah. Basically, just to ensure that Cory Booker stays in a office. But how crazy is it that they have to pass these policies to keep their power? They're power hungry. It's all about their power, never about the people power at all.
No, of course not. But see, that's why Trump was. This is why I was so big on him, because I knew exactly he didn't need that. He already had it. This man is doing something that I believe that he is divinely guided, and that he is. I'm not even saying this to be funny. I really think he's the greatest president that we've ever had. Because
as a country or in our generation?
As our country.
I would disagree with that.
Listen to me though.
But
he has nobody on his side. He is a one-man show.
Yeah.
He's a one-man show.
But what's scary about that, and what the conversation you and I have always had, is the balance of power in government, and that you don't want that kind of ego going crazy into a dictatorship.
Chris, I get it.
Yeah, I know.
But we had it with the last guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? We saw that dictatorship going one way.
Yeah.
All right. The only way to get anything done is what Trump's doing now. And I think he walks a fine line. There's just no way. There's no way that we would even be a country anymore if it wasn't for President Trump. He saved this country. I don't know if it's a temporary thing. I think it might be.
What?
I think it's a temporary reprieve that we have as a country. I'm scared because you have another. They talk about there's more people on the earth now than has ever been on the earth from 30 years ago to the beginning since the beginning of time. Mm-hmm. If you can conceptualize that.
Yeah.
So when you think about the influx of the population growth, which is like through the roof, with all these little millennials and these people that have just been brought up with, they are going to be voting in this next election. Mm-hmm. It scares the heck out of me, thinking that we might not win the next election. And
do you have doubts?
I do.
I have stronger faith than ever on him winning re-election.
He should win. We're just talking about
I'm
merit.
Serious.
I mean, and it's unfortunate, but I think we have to fight fire with fire. I think we got to play dirty tricks too.
That's a conversation I'm trying to have with as many people as possible. Yeah.
But what are we going to do? Because once they take our freedom in this country, when they totally go that route of socialism, we're not going to have the Constitution at all to save us anymore, because they're going to do away with it. They're going to. That's what they've always been trying to get around it, and now I think they're just going to come full force and get away from it. And there's just stupid kids that think, oh, hey, I just want legalized pot or whatever, they're just that's where their focus is. Or, oh my God, it's so expensive to go to college.
Hey, speaking of candidates and everything, we talked about in the very beginning how much you made fun of me for being a Ted Cruz supporter. I think you're going to really like this video.
Come on. I just hope. I was so grateful he won. I was pulling for the guy, him and his booger.
Yeah. Here's a video you're really going to like.
Walk away. And just remember, it wasn't the Republicans, it was the Democrats that took you into the vet to get fixed.
And there is freedom on the other side.
I support spaying. I support spaying and neutering, just like Trump did to you. Hi, kid!
All right.
Thanks, Ted! Thanks for visiting!
What show is this?
It was Triumph the Dog. You ever see Triumph the Dog?
Funny.
Yeah, he shows up on Kimmel or something like that, which Kimmel sucks, but that was pretty funny, even as a Ted Cruz supporter.
Awful.
Yeah,
these people are
terrible.
not funny.
No,
They're not funny.
I like Jimmy Fallon a lot.
You know who I liked a lot? Jay Leno. You know why?
You know what he's on?
Huh?
You know what he's on now? Last Man Standing.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's a character on there.
Yeah, you could tell he wasn't like some commie.
Oh yeah, he's a
I used to think Jimmy Fallon was funny too, but
no, he really is. Sometimes he walks that political line, has guests on that they talk. But
tired of it. I'm so tired of it. Everywhere you look on all these, you can't even watch football anymore without hearing communism.
Yeah.
You can't even watch football without there being communist rules. You can't even tackle a freaking quarterback.
I know. That's insane.
It's unbelievable.
That is insane. Yep.
Maybe there'd be a new team like Carolina Commies or something.
Yeah. Let me see what we're at here.
Hey,
we only have a half hour left.
Tonight's the Baltimore Bolsheviks.
So I'm going to go through some of these here and not cover these. How about this one? Trump signs a bill lifting pharmacists' gag clauses on drug prices.
Isn't that something?
Do you know about this?
Oh,
do you want to explain it, or do you want me to explain it?
So, not only there's two parts to that. What he signed, and probably many of you don't follow the president or hate him would never hear this stuff. But he did two things. First of all, this is going to put a cap on how much these drug companies can charge for their drugs for people who need them. So it's going to make sure that they're more affordable, because these are life-saving drugs. There's a certain thing where I don't think it should be total demand and
monopoly
demand
type stuff.
Yeah. So because he put a cap on that, this is going to help a lot of those people with pre-existing conditions afford the drugs to keep them alive or give them a better way of life. On the other hand, what he did was he also signed the right to try.
No, the right to fight.
No, try. It's called the right to try. It's no.
Here, I'll read this
Isn't
off.
it try?
No, you're talking about the last one that he signed for healthcare, which I really agreed with. Yeah, it's the right to fight, which is.
I thought it was the try. I thought it was to try different experiments or whatever.
No, yeah, that was the last bill.
Okay.
There were two bills associated with this, so you're along the right track here. I'm just going to kind of supplement what you're saying. He signed the Know the Lowest Price Act and the Patient's Right to Know Drug Prices Act, which are meant to prevent gag clauses and agreements between pharmacies and pharmacy benefit managers, the middlemen who administer prescription drug programs for insurance companies, which pharmacists say kept them from disclosing cheaper drug options to consumers. So in order to truly understand this and appreciate how well this is going to work for us, you have to understand basic economics and free market principles, right? So by bringing to light these prices and bringing them out into the open like vampires to sunlight, you are allowing competitors to see the prices and lower their prices to create a war on prices and everything, which a war on prices doesn't go up in competition, it goes down, which is the basic free market principle of what you're trying to do to help consumers and everything. So he is allowing drug companies to see these prices or see alternatives, what do they call those in prescription drugs? Generics, stuff like that.
Generics.
That people can get, and that to be more affordable. Like if you're talking about medication that people need, Trump is helping those people.
Right.
There's no way around that.
Right.
But the Right to Fight Act, which is the other one that you were talking about that was passed a couple of weeks ago, is if you're diagnosed with something that your insurance just does not cover at this time, and you can't get that treatment here in this country, it allows you to go and seek that treatment, alternative treatments that are out there that the FDA hasn't completely approved yet. But like I said, if I'm dying of cancer and I'm deemed terminal, that I'm going to die, and there's a chance that something might save me, what the hell's the problem with letting me try for it?
Now you got to bleep yourself out.
It was as hell.
Oh, that's okay.
Well, you're throwing fits of rage over here.
You could not say poopy.
All right, let's talk quickly about Kavanaugh.
Okay. I know Kavanaugh.
Do you?
Not personally, but I heard of him.
The Senate Judiciary Committee report.
Isn't he the rapist?
Yeah, serial rapist and gang rapist.
That's right. That's where I know him from.
The committee report said that they did 45 interviews with zero evidence to corroborate claims against Kavanaugh. Okay, so that's the one thing. And this other article, it says Senate investigators find evidence Ford may have mistaken Kavanaugh for another man. This is really important and something that we had been talking about before, which is, listen, in regards to her testimony, I don't know how you felt you could be feel completely different. I believed what she said happened to her, right? I don't believe after hearing Kavanaugh that he was the one that did it. That was my opinion from the get-go after that whole testimony thing. It says a report released by the Senate Judiciary Committee on Saturday included the account of a man who said that he had a consensual encounter with Blasey Ford in the early 1980s, which mirrored in multiple respects the allegation of sexual misconduct she brought against then Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. During his public testimony regarding allegations made by Ford in late September, Kavanaugh empathetically denied he had ever sexually assaulted her and insisted she must be mistaking him for another man. According to the report, committee investigators interviewed a man whose name was redacted the day before Ford testified. This man related that when he was a 19-year-old college student, he visited Washington, D.C. over spring break and kissed a girl he thought was Ford. The report reads, he said that the kiss happened in the bedroom of a house which was about a 15 to 20 minute walk from the Van Ness Metro, that Dr. Ford was wearing a swimsuit under her clothing, and that the kissing ended with a friend jumping on them as a joke. The man said that the woman initiated the kissing and that he did not force himself on her. So here's like everything that she describes in that situation plays out for what this guy said happened with her.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
You don't buy his story or her story?
Hers. And
after hearing all this stuff from Kavanaugh and this guy, it just doesn't add up.
No, but I listen, and it's a shame because I'm sure there are cases of real rape in this world.
Yes,
but
people like this.
The majority of, I wish I had a dime for every girl that told me, "Oh my God, I was raped," and I've had it happen so many times that I'm just like, do you guys know what this word means by any chance? You know, because is it
not to diminish real rape?
No,
incidents.
I'm not diminishing. Of course not.
You know the circumstances and of what they're saying?
I've had it happen to me personally so many times.
That they said you did?
Always, no.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to clear up.
Are you kidding? I am so lazy. Like I'd be like, yeah, that wouldn't happen. I'm trying to say that I've had a lot of different girls that I knew in my life that always seemed to be like an attention thing. Like trying to gain attention, because every time you'd find out, they're bat crazy a little bit.
You're going down the road I can't follow you.
No, what I'm trying to say is I think it's because it's something that I've experienced personally, where I've known even girls when they've been scorned
Yeah.
Okay, by a guy to say things that could potentially put him in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I've seen it so many times that it's like I always like take you were raped. You know, you can tell when someone was really raped. I think they're changed forever.
I have family members that were. Yeah.
So you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you could. There's people that use it lightly, and there's people that use it for gain. And I've seen it happen so many times.
And it diminishes the stories of the real.
So that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And this would here's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Or how about all those Duke lacrosse players? I mean, you can go. Yep. You can pick out so many.
I did a whole podcast on a whole bunch of stories.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about now. So what about what's his face? Thomas, Clarence Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
What about but of course when it's actual cases. Or cases with a lot more evidence, such as I don't know, Bill Clinton. Mm-hmm. You don't hear anything about it from mainstream.
I know. I went hard.
You're only allowed to rape if you are a liberal.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Hillary Clinton, and she never wanted to share their stories.
No, she used the FBI to cover their stories.
Yeah. So there you go.
So while we're still on the topic of Kavanaugh, a Kavanaugh accuser admits to fabricating the rape story, like literally coming out and saying that she fabricated it. Mm-hmm. One of Justice Kavanaugh's accusers admitted this week that she made up her lurid tale of a backseat car rape, saying it was a tactic to try to derail the judge's confirmation on the Supreme Court. Chuck Grassley, the senator chairman of the Judiciary Committee, revealed the fraud in a letter to the FBI and Justice Department Friday, asking them to prosecute Judy Monroe Layton for lying to and obstructing Congress. I'm going to keep it going as fast as possible because we're starting to run out of time.
Yeah.
But so she fabricated it.
Yeah.
Here's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
Justice Kavanaugh has declined over $600,000 raised for his family and will instead be donating it to charity, right? Blasey Ford raised a lot more money than that, and I haven't heard a damn thing about where she's spending that money.
Well, I wonder where she got all the money because, like I said...
GoFundMes. People were setting up GoFundMes for her like crazy.
Yeah, but...
Just from GoFundMes, not to mention the people behind the scenes, like your average Soros or something like that.
Average Soros, yeah. I'm sure that's where the majority of the money
is. I would agree too.
Liberals ain't going to shell out money for anything. Even for that,
I think in cases like this, GoFundMes and stuff, they do. But yeah, there were definitely puppet masters behind the scenes as well.
Here's $2. Give one to Nader, and you take one.
So I posted a picture. This must have gone up while the midterm elections were on their way up and everything. Mm-hmm. And this is what we were talking about earlier. The billboard says Christians don't vote for abortions. You had some things to say about it before.
You can't disagree with it.
No, I agree.
You can't. If you see the problem with so many of these false Christian churches, or the liberal end of it, is that they that I always explain. It's that book that told you that Christ was born to a virgin, that Christ died on the cross, that teaches us the virtue of Christ and the story of Christ and all his parables and his way of trying to teach us a better way of life. All those things are in that same book that teaches this, that abortion is murder. Mm-hmm. So you can't take parts of what you want to take.
I always say that.
You have to kind of, it is what it is,
Yep.
It sucks. And I'm a very imperfect person. I've done a lot of things that I'm not proud of, but we can always strive to be better. We can always know that it's so easy to look at the Christian way is the most humane way to live. It's the
charitable.
But it really would make our lives easier if we were on the same page with it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's,
well, the Muslims would say that too, but it's just backcrap craziness.
Right. But I mean, like, see, then you talk to people who are like atheists or whatever, and they want to talk about the Inquisitions or the what do they call it, the Christian
Crusades.
The Crusades, yeah, right. So that's where they go right away with it. But you can distort anything.
Well, I think in regards to this billboard and stuff, what I really like about it is I think we do need to do a better job as Christians of standing up against certain things like this, or standing for certain things, because what is the worst that someone could say about you if you are pro-life, right? Oh, you want to save babies. That's essentially what they're saying. Oh, you want to save babies?
No, that's not essentially what they're saying. They're saying you hate women.
Right. They try to twist that language into that.
That's how they think, though.
Yes, I know. But when it comes down to the brass tacks and what the statistics are and everything, you're talking about less than a fraction of 1% that come down to rape, incest, and
that's ridiculous.
And women's health issues.
Again, here we are. Again, it's such a. They're using that rape once again to justify a murder.
Yeah, I had someone that reposted this that follows a page, and I'm also friends with on Facebook, that posted this, and the person commented underneath it, yeah, but what about the case of rape? And I posted underneath them, I'm a product of rape. Never got a reply. They never replied to it, and it's true. I'm third generation product of rape.
Explain that so everybody's.
My great.
Oh, Joanne, are you okay?
No, great-great-grandmother was raped, and instead of an abortion, the family decided that the best thing to do in regards to that was to, it was really odd, but it worked. They gave the baby to her sister, and my grandfather grew up thinking that his mother was his aunt and his aunt was his mother, right? And so from there, you have now living today 26 members of our family that are a product of that abortion not going through. So third generation product of rape, I would say. And you want to look at me and say, whether you look into my eyes, maybe you disagree with my policies and you hate me because I'm a conservative or something. And I look into you and I say, look at me and say that you think I shouldn't be here because my grandfather should have been aborted. Well, maybe you have a hate for me because of my politics and you're just that much of a child that you can't get over a difference of opinion. But look into my daughter's eyes. Look into anyone else in my family's eyes who disagrees with my policies and say that they don't deserve to be here.
So you have to understand the liberal mind.
I really do.
They don't think like that.
No, they don't.
They don't think like that, Chris. They think that humans themselves are a disease and should be eradicated.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep.
They do.
The population bomb.
Yes, but of course, I always my whole thing is you first.
Yeah. You believe it so much. Get
go
off
ahead.
yourself. Yeah, well, that was a joke last week too.
But it's unfortunate that they don't. You can't reason with this anymore.
No.
You can't.
You can't.
And I'm not trying to be hysterical or not. We've talked, and I've seen it come in a long time, and this ball never stops rolling. And now that side is going absolutely insane, and I've lost a lot of friends because of beliefs I have, and just simple things. Not even I always had a thing, and this has just changed recently, and I swear I've always had a thing about not calling people names, I don't. I
hold to that.
It's done.
Yeah, I hold to it.
It's done. I've had it happen so much to me. A simple thing is we had a family picture at Christmas 2 years ago, and in front of the tree we all held a Trump sign, or we had a Trump sign in the beginning. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
picture?
I do remember. Yeah.
Oh, I hate gay people, and I
people that commented under.
Yes, I'm sorry. That's what they.
Yeah.
Not me.
I thought you had a family disagreement.
Because my family had a Trump sign. Mm-hmm. It went nuts, and then people that I thought were my friends and stuff, it was like, can't explain it.
To me, and the reason why I would try to dissuade you from going and using name calling as a tactic and everything is that, to me, it always shows to me that liberals don't have an argument to be had, and they have to resort to name calling because they can't use facts or statistics or even argue their point because they don't know how. They're not educated on how to argue the point, just to how to regurgitate points.
True, but the point is that you can't use reason to.
Oh no, you won't get through to them.
You won't.
But I'm talking about how you come off publicly yourself. I would be more concerned about yourself than what they come off as. That's just me.
What do you mean?
That's just me. I could care less about a liberal calling me names and acting like an idiot, an uneducated idiot that can't support their own theories or policies. I'm less concerned about that than word getting back to me that someone's upset that I lowered my standards of how I treat people by calling someone names when I certainly have the argument on my side and I could have just argued my points logically.
Right.
And even though logic and reason doesn't apply to them and they don't get it, at least I stuck to my moral ground.
I don't like
principles.
when it escalates to the point where it's, of where our country is now.
Yeah.
This is not what I ever thought it would have ended up as.
It devolved so quickly.
Well, I thought that, and especially when you look at Trump's track record, everything that he's done since he's been in office, the list is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
It's ridiculous. And you think, no, people would have come around, and it just didn't happen. So, it's unfortunate.
So let's get into the midterm elections.
Okay.
We'll try to be as fast as possible. Okay. Because we have
speed dating.
Yeah, we got about a half hour left. So, just to start this off, let's take a look at, I think Comedy Central put this out in regards to all the celebrities telling us to vote and everything. So it was actually really good and really funny.
Okay. On November 6th, there's an election.
You might be thinking...
Wow, a new president already?
No.
This is not a presidential election.
It's a midterm. Senators, congresspeople,
governors,
local officials. All Americans are asking themselves
the same questions.
Should I vote?
How will I know that I should vote?
If celebrities don't tell me to.
Does Emma Stone think I should vote?
What about John Krasinski?
Have you guys seen A Quiet Place? Yes, but that isn't what this is about right now. It's about celebrities.
Telling regular Americans that they have to vote.
Many normal Americans like us don't know what we should do until celebrities tell us what to do.
Should I moisturize?
Jennifer Aniston says you should.
That's a yes. But should we vote?
Some people are calling this the most important election of our lives, but they aren't famous. Chris Tucker.
Lady Gaga.
Kendrick Lamar.
Will Smith.
Should I vote?
Ethel Merman.
The Harlem Globetrotters.
Angela Bassett.
Kylie Jenner's baby.
Bruno Mars.
Cast of Riverdale. Your silence is deafening.
So really good put together, just like all these celebrities that came out. You see Jake Gyllenhaal wearing the Beto shirt and everything, and Beyonce did the Beto hat and all that. And it's like, who cares what you have to say?
You know what drives me nuts?
Especially Gyllenhaal, he's a beta male.
Yeah. So people always say like, oh look, this is like I was listening to Tucker last night, and he was talking about how. People should not vote for someone on personality, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no crap.
Yeah.
But guess what?
They do.
How do you think Obama got elected?
Yeah.
Where'd he come from?
He had no
background. It all came out the same way.
Yep.
He was the big superstar that was on the... Do you remember how it all happened?
Yeah.
2002. No. 2004.
Okay.
When Kerry was running at the Democratic National Committee. He came on stage. I was watching it, and he came on stage, and just it was so orchestrated. Everybody in that crowd, like screaming and yelling, and
Yeah, but you know what? I watched that too, and when I saw that, despite disagreeing with him, I looked at that and I said, he's going to be a president at some point.
Yeah, well, I didn't
because of them people falling for it.
Phony. That's all I saw.
Yeah,
that's all I saw. I would have rather had Howard Dean.
Yeah.
I don't even know. And they were gonna take Iowa, and they were gonna take New Hampshire.
That was hilarious. He can't live that down. That's all he's remembered for.
I don't know how. Like that was enough to get rid of him. Today, you could have like brothels full of children, and you're still like, well, he's a Democrat,
Yeah. Well,
then all he did was make a scream, and he was done.
Yeah.
Was that 2000, right? I think it was 2000.
Kerry?
Yeah. No. When
Kerry,
Howard Dean went down.
Oh, I don't know.
That guy.
No, that had to have been 2004. Yeah, because it was Al Gore and Bush in 2000.
Yeah, no, he didn't. He wasn't the nominee. He was running, so it was
right. Yeah, so if you're talking about him against Kerry, that would be 2004.
He was running against Al Gore. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, possible. Yeah. It's possible. This is a CNN writer suggests that women go on a sex strike ahead of midterm elections.
What?
CNN, this is obviously before the election. It says it suggests that women should go on a sex strike ahead of midterm elections.
What does that mean? To get their guys to vote?
To vote Democrat, yeah.
Well, it worked for one guy I know.
No, but what I thought was funny about this was, okay, we have lowest unemployment numbers in recorded history. We have more jobs available than we have unemployed. The economy is booming. We have lowest black unemployment, lowest Hispanic unemployment. We have jobs giving out bonuses and all these things because
lowest Asian unemployment. Yeah. Lowest Pakistani unemployment.
But all these great things are happening, and you're bringing in a higher average salary because of the Trump administration. If anything, you should be having a sex binging. What is it called?
A romp?
Yeah.
A romp.
No, like
Escapade.
not a strike, not a boycott.
A celebratory fiesta.
You should just be giving it up all the time in celebration for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen some of those Democratic women. I think they should go on strike permanently.
Oh, man.
What's it? Andrea Mitchell? Go on strike.
Here's a...
Andrea Mitchell.
Oh, she's horrible. This is according to PJ Media. 105 articles cover Ilhan Omar's win, one of the first Muslim women to be appointed or voted in, right? 0 cover her anti-Semitism, evidence and finance investigations or perjury evidence. I'm going to make this really quick. I'm
that
just
would
going
be
to go
racist
through.
to mention it.
Yeah. How about this? Omar has made and defended anti-Semitic statements that are indistinguishable from the Ayatollah Khamenei's Twitter feed. Just weeks ago, the Minnesota Campaign Finance Board opened an investigation into her after evidence of a third major violation surfaced. A stunning amount of evidence, official state documents, court proceedings, and time-stamped verified social media posts from Omar's own account shows that Omar may have committed multiple serious federal and state felonies, immigration fraud, marriage fraud, many instances of perjury, tax fraud, student loan fraud, and more are implicated in the evidence. 0 evidence has surfaced to counter any of that hard evidence, and on the contrary, Omar has been caught deleting much of it. So this is a PJ Media article with, look at this.
See, you're talking about it like it's going to have any bearing on his future. It's
her future.
Or whatever.
Yeah, but it has over 120 hyperlinks to all this information. No, I'm not saying it in regards to having any bearing of effect on her future or anything. I'm just saying people, whether it's told and not heard, it needs to be told. You know what I mean?
The only people that are going to care about it is us, and we're going to sit there and complain. And the people on that side don't care because they have one agenda, and that's to destroy this country. And that's all there is to it. So we're going to sit there and go, how can't they see? How can't they see? How can't they see? They see it fine. They just know exactly what the person stands for.
Yep. How about this? Here's your boy.
I'm so f***ing proud of you guys.
He's so sour. So that was Beto O'Rourke.
You got some health care. Hey, where's the teleprompter? Remember that one? That was the best.
The best for Obama was when he needed the teleprompter in front of an elementary school class. Oh, man.
Oh, I just love that. Hold on. It's coming. Hold on. It's like, you got some health care. You got some pills.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'll be right there with you. Yeah. I hear you. I love you too.
Yeah. That's right. It was over the insulin, or what was it? He messed up insulin with something else.
I know.
It was
he's
crazy.
Such a dingbat.
Yeah. So Beto here, my point on this, what do you think? First of all, for me, again, you're kind of at the point where you're just fed up with everything. You don't care about cursing or name calling and stuff like that. But I expect from my elected officials a little bit more professionalism.
That's because you're on one side of it, Chris. You keep talking logic. This has nothing to do with it anymore. You could throw that right out the door. Nothing matters anymore.
What's more? Let me ask you this.
What?
Maybe this has more to do with it. I have my shortcomings. I mean, my wife will be the first one to tell you that I curse, more than I should.
I know.
You know, and I keep it under control for the show, surprisingly enough.
Well, I'm sorry for saying the S word.
But beyond that, like I do things that I'm not too proud of sometimes. But what it comes down to for me is what's more important to me in my life. Is it the political end of things and the upheaval of everything, or is it my Christian values that I need to be more aligned with?
They're one and the same.
But you can't then say that you just are going to stoop to name calling and cursing people out and going to war with them if you're a Christian.
See, no, I disagree with you.
Totally. Of course you do.
Totally. I don't think, I don't remember Christ wanting us to lie down in the sand. And,
no. But you can do that.
As far as I remember him knocking
person.
over all the tables.
By being a more moral person, yes.
That's just ridiculous. That has nothing to do with us and our survival as a country.
Yes, when it comes to it, you gotta
what?
You gotta uphold your morals and values while you fight.
Okay, yeah.
That's just my thought on it. That's all.
I understand it, but talking to the press. I mean, I don't think that's. Yeah, I know. I understand what you mean. I was missing you. I think we missed each other a couple times in this conversation. Especially the rape thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, Chris, why don't you understand me? Great. Now the world thinks that I'm,
Well,
hold on. Let me have a sip of my Skittles.
Well, we're talking about Robert O'Rourke. What is he saying? No, Gary. Thanks, Gary. James O'Keefe's project
is looking.
Oliveira.
Oh boy, I can't see.
Yeah. James O'Keefe's Project Veritas released an undercover sting video last Thursday night that appeared to show the campaign staffers for O'Rourke illegally using campaign resources to buy supplies and help transport Honduran aliens. Now, in regards to this, the Project Veritas does a great job of undercover videos with Planned Parenthood, Acorn back in the day, before they dissolved into, what was it now?
Oh, this is what I mean.
Yeah, they just keep on shell game.
I know.
But they do a great job of exposing. Now, is it if you were a liberal,
I
right?
forgot about Acorn.
Yeah, if you were a liberal, would it be so bad to recognize you helping out financially people that you thought were in distress? No, not really, right? But what he did here is illegal. You can't use campaign funds to do stuff like that. So no matter how much you sympathize or empathize with what he's doing and his mission or their mission on that, and with this caravan that's coming, you have to put those emotions aside because it's illegal. That's all there is to it.
Oh, but everybody knows that everybody, including the Susan Wild, as far as I heard, they all been giving funds to the caravan.
I bet.
And it's because it's a fabricated thing.
Yeah.
I mean, again,
it'll be real interesting.
Stupid.
What's the timeline on that? By the time, what are they projecting on when they get to the border?
Well, I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see what happens because I think Trump is going to stick to his guns on that.
Yeah, he's not because he's a real president. We haven't had one.
I know.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, in regards to the whole blue wave thing, man, there's just so much to say. I don't even know where to start on this. But as soon as the Democrats took the House, Pelosi, who has been one of the most outspoken people on impeaching the president and going after Republicans and everything, immediately, at least the night of the election, took a more bipartisan tone and said, we're not going to seek impeachment. And I think that the reason, now this is a real...
Impeachment. You know
what
that is?
Well, we're going to get to her.
Oh, she's a loon.
Yeah.
She's the worst. What we're talking about is socialism.
Impeach 45! Impeach 45!
Whatever happened to that one with the cowboy hat?
Oh, yeah. She's... I forget her name. Down in Florida. Sheila Jackson Lee.
Oh, yeah. She's a loon. Yeah. These people are loons. All of them.
So, here's the thing. What are your thoughts? We're just going to open it up for discussion. I think I have a bunch of different articles here that I can kind of go to with while we're talking about this, but what are your thoughts on what happened with the midterm elections? Are you upset with what happened? Are you happy with what happened? What is your read of what happened in the election?
I can't fathom. There's just no way that the Democrats got that many votes for their candidates without tampering, without illegal voting, without dead people voting, without people voting 40, 50 times. There's no way. There's no way. It makes zero sense because they had the money too. They really outspent the Republicans.
Yeah, always. They always do.
Yeah, but they really went overboard this time. You know, just local races, you know. Mm-hmm. Susan Wild get 10, 11 to 1 to Marty Nelsstein.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, did what's his name? Lou
Barletta?
Barletta. Did he even like
it was a killing. Yeah. Well, here's my read of the whole thing. Scott Wagner.
Yeah, well, I saw like maybe one commercial, and you know a lot of it had to do with with Wolf and the teachers unions.
Mm-hmm.
I know that.
Always. Yeah. Here's my read out of the whole situation. We have been building up for months now this blue wave that was coming, right? And the Kavanaugh situation really opened up the eyes of the public, I think. And a lot of people came out and said, what they're doing to this guy is not right, you know? And I think that turned the tide of the blue wave, so to speak, in the opposite direction for a lot of people, except for the loons that we keep on referring to, right? So what we ended up with was a small marginal victory for the Democrats in the House, but on the opposite end of things in the Senate, we got gains in the Senate, right?
Yeah.
We also, one of the big stories that people are missing out on is we got governorships all over the place. Yeah, it sucks that we still have Tom Wolf and everything.
Those were really important. I was scared in Florida.
Yeah.
Florida scared the heck out of me.
Yeah, I know.
I was like,
but
how did that happen?
It sucks with Tom Wolf. I would have rather have had Wagner in there and
it's
whatnot.
not like Wagner was a good candidate anyway.
No, but we won governorships all over the country. If nothing else, there's been more victories in this midterm election for the Republicans than there was for the Democrats. And I think the reason why Nancy Pelosi took such a bipartisan tone immediately was because they predicted a blue wave coming for the Democrats to just take over all this stuff. For them to only win by small margins, they immediately recognized that the country is not on the side of the Democrats in this, despite what they would think. And on top of that, historically looking at midterm elections throughout history, you see a strong turnout for the opposing party to who's in power, right? So they had everything working in their favor. They had the press has been trying their hardest to make everything about Trump, blame Trump for everything. You have the leftists, the politicians going after Trump. It's all been about finding something to impeach him on. You have the historical context of midterm elections going against the party in power. Everything led to the fact that this should have been a sweeping victory for the Democrats, but they only won by small margins.
The reason that I believe we did so well in the Senate was one word, and that's Trump.
Yeah.
Trump,
he
was working hard.
Despite what people say, people can either say that this election was about Trump or that it wasn't about Trump. The fact of the matter is, it is about Trump.
It's always going to be.
Because it's kind of like you said, it's a one-man band type thing going on right now, which I'm not a big fan of. But
either.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, but it is a reflection of who's pushing through his policies right now. And if there's one message I think we can take away from this is that within the next 2 months, we need to get on the phone with our congressmen and have them push through what they can before the Democrats assume control again and everything. But this fizzle out of the blue wave really shows a lot of things to me. Number one thing that's not being reported a lot on right now in the news is that Trump stands at a 2% higher approval rating than Obama did at this exact same time in his presidency. 2% higher than Obama. And Obama was only in as a celebrity. Let's be honest. That's what we were just talking about. It was all personality. He didn't have anything else going for him.
Again, I don't even know how he won. I don't get it.
Do you know Lance?
Lance Bass?
Kohler?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
I know Lance Bass.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. He wanted to go to the moon.
Yeah.
With a monkey. I'm floating in the sky.
Yeah, let's see here. What are some of these headlines? Democrats' progressive superstars lose most of their races. So we were talking about that earlier. Yeah. Of the 6 avowed socialists that ran, Ocasio-Cortez is the only one that won. And she's in Brooklyn. She was expected to win.
See, I'm sick of... I feel so bad for those people in New York, like in upstate, which is basically everywhere else except for the New York City area. Mm-hmm. That city just drags the whole... Actually, you look around... There's lots of good people in California, Northern California.
Oh, yeah. My boss is one of them. Yeah. He's in deep red parts of California. Yeah, absolutely.
It's like they're just...
By the way, the senators that voted against Kavanaugh that were up for re-election, the majority of them lost their seats.
I know.
Yep. So that's all positive things for me. And I got to tell you, Billy, I'm looking at the 2020 election with more hopeful faith now than I did before. I really thought up until his midterm election that he was going to, barring any big screw up, win this re-election, right? And after these midterm elections, just based on what I was telling you about the historical context and how little they won by and everything, I am absolutely positive that he's going to win again.
I understand the historical context of things, because usually the party in power does very, very awful that very next midterm election. But the issue with it is that Trump has done so well at his job, and he's like a dream come true. I'm serious. What?
Sweep this off of your hair.
What is it?
I'm just joking.
Oh. What did I do? Spit?
No.
What?
Never mind.
All right.
Never mind. Just go ahead.
Just don't touch my leg. He's been so good at his job. There's no reason it shouldn't have been a red wave.
Yep.
And I don't see. I think you're thinking like everything is what it's supposed to be, and I just happen to not believe that our elections are fair, and I believe that they are rigged.
Listen, there's parts of that. So Lance here, your mic is buzzing again. Okay,
what he said.
It's rubbing up against his sweater. So Lance here, we were talking about before, he said, "How about historically Senate seats gained?" Yeah, and we were just talking about that the Senate gained Republican seats, which right. That's what kind of perplexes me about this whole thing too, is how the same people got out and voted, right, but we lost in the House and gained in the Senate. Is so weird.
You want to hear something more perplexing on a local level? How the heck is Marty Nothstein maybe going to get... How did he get the vote to finish out the term of the 15th Congressional District from Charlie Dent and yet get railroaded in the major election from Susan Wild? Because when you're voting, you pick for each one of those, mm-hmm. and you probably wouldn't pick one. I'll vote for Susan Wild here, but I'll let Marty finish it out. Nobody's going to do that.
Yeah.
So I can't figure that out.
And then he said, and what Obama lost in the House back in the day. Yeah. So there's historical context.
Oh, I understand that, and I think he's right. I just think things are getting more corrupt in our actual elections. In 2 years, is there going to be any legitimacy to it?
I don't know. I think the next thing up is them trying to seek to eliminate the Electoral College.
Oh, yeah, and which is just it's the dumbest thing you can do if you care about the country at all. Not even where your politics lie. It doesn't. It's just you're letting a little parts. You're letting
the big cities rule the rest of the country.
Basically.
Yeah.
The coasts.
Look at the heat maps for who voted for what, and you'll see little blue, big blue spots where the cities are, and the rest of the country is always red.
Right.
It's just ridiculous. You might as well, in the abolishment of the Electoral College, not even vote if you're in the middle of the country, because you can't change anything.
Right.
How about this for a headline? Liberals blame white women for Democrats' failures in midterm elections, and they're vicious. So
I would start with Susan Wild.
Well, so I would love to talk more about local politics, but unfortunately I kind of go out to more than just our local area and everything. So, but I find it fascinating that you have this party that supposedly stands for minority groups like women, and then they go and blame them for their losses. You know, and it's like I said on my post about it and everything. Listen, you can disagree with me on 30% of the issues, okay? I would still welcome you into our tent if you're over 50% on the issues. You know, are we going to agree on everything? But no. But the Democrats, it's a thin line that you have to walk in order for them to consider you part of their party.
Well, they used to call themselves the Big Tent. And there's nothing
big about
you can't be pro-life and be go anywhere in that.
Oh, you can be pro-life as long as it's leading up to an election. As soon as the election happens, then they want nothing to do with you. They'll say that you're welcome. They will. They'll say, "Oh, you know, they do it for the votes." That's all I'm saying.
So you remember Bob Casey?
Yeah, unfortunately. Which Papa or Junior?
His dad.
Okay.
He was
didn't remember him too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was at the 92 Democratic convention.
Yep.
They wouldn't let him speak because he was pro-life.
Yep. I do remember that.
And this guy's pro-life too, Bob Casey.
But he needs to prove it more.
He just says he is.
Yeah.
Because
there's no
his
action
dad was.
behind it. Yeah.
That's just a bunch of I don't know.
How about this in regards to the election results? College gives students safe space to de-stress from terrible, horrible, no good, very bad election.
That's not a real one.
No, yeah. It's Marquette University's. Is that Marquette? Marquette? University's Counseling Center advertised a safe space for students to de-stress from the ravages of the 2018 midterm elections. Political stress got you down, the center said in a Facebook notice. Come to our de-stress event. Among the perks were stress-busting activities, a gratitude board, and self-care strategies. We are
self-care?
we are not preparing these kids for the real world if you have to pamper them like this.
The real world's going to change.
Yeah, I agree. That's the sad part.
Self-care.
Going into a pampering society. Here's your boy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to challenge you on one of the statements that you made in the tail end of the campaign in the midterms.
Here we go.
If you don't mind, Mr. President, that this caravan was an invasion. As you know, Mr. President,
I consider it to be an invasion.
As you know, Mr. President, the caravan was not an invasion. It's a group of migrants moving up from Central America towards the border with the U.S.
Thank you for telling me that. I appreciate it.
Why did you characterize it as such?
Because I consider it an invasion. You and I have a difference of opinion.
But do you think that you demonized immigrants in this election to try to keep...
I want them to come into the country, but they have to come in legally. You know, they have to come in, Jim, through a process. I want it to be a process. And I want people to come in, and we need the people.
Your campaign...
Wait. You know why we need the people, don't you? Because we have hundreds of companies moving in. We need the people.
But your campaign had an ad showing migrants climbing over walls and so on.
Well, that's true. But they weren't actors.
They're not going to be doing that.
They weren't actors. Well, no, it's true. Do you think they were actors? They weren't actors. They didn't come from Hollywood. Right. These were people. This was an actual, it happened a few days ago. And
they're hundreds of miles away, though. They're hundreds and hundreds of miles away. That's not an invasion.
Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
All right.
And if you did it well, your ratings would be much better.
If I may ask one other question, Mr. President, if I may ask one other question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, I was going to ask one of the other folks.
That's enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr. President,
that's enough.
Mr. President, I had one other question, if I may ask, on the Russia investigation. Are you concerned that you may have...
I'm not concerned about anything with the Russian investigation because it's a hoax. That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation?
Mr. President. I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Go ahead.
I think that's unfair.
You're a very rude person. The way you treat Sarah Huckabee is horrible. And the way you treat other people are horrible. You shouldn't treat people that way.
You're a rude, terrible person. I love that.
Good.
I just feel bad for the man. You know, I just wish there was a. I wish he had a bunch of people around him to defend him, but it's always him having to explain everything, trying to get a word in edgewise. Him being bombarded not with questions, but with. So you have one guy, this Jim Acosta. He asked more than one question. It seems like 3 or 4 questions.
5 at least.
5? 5. You know, and he's, you know, kind of like, he's not the only person in the room, you know.
Cutting people off.
Yeah, and Trump's answering his questions, just he doesn't like the answers, I guess. But again, I think this, you know, he's like a showboat, this guy.
Yeah. So Jim Acosta's credentials were revoked today as well. And I got to be honest with you, I think what we saw there as far as Eric said Acosta was way out of line. Absolutely. I think everybody agrees with that except for liberals, obviously. But I think Jim Acosta accomplished what he wanted to accomplish. I honestly do. He was that over the top and obnoxious because that's the only way he could make a name for himself anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know
so revoking his credentials is exactly what I wanted because now he can make a news story of his credentials getting revoked. That's all he is about.
But it's going to be short-lived.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know, and not only that, but he's not welcome back into the White House. So I really think that whatever kind of boost that his career gets is very short-lived, maybe even weeks.
Yep.
And then he's back on CNN, which no one watches.
Yeah. So we ran out of time here. We were going to go over a little bit of Maxine Waters and everything, but I appreciate you coming on and being with me and talking
Thanks,
about
Chris.
This. Hey, absolutely, sir.
Hey, we'll do it in another 78 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight for the podcast. If you are watching, like I said, we were getting involved with a couple people on here. I want to say thanks to Lance and Gary and Tanya, Rachel. Got involved, a couple people. There was a whole long list of people got involved in things. But if you,
Ms. Cortez, there's
if you would like to get involved in the podcast and interact with us and everything, you can always tune in on Facebook. So go to the Facebook page and hit like and follow so that you know when we go live with the podcast. It's actually kind of funny. When we went live, he got a notification on his smartwatch there that the Generation Y Conservative went live.
So, I follow him.
make sure that you share it with friends. Go to the YouTube page, hit subscribe, and share that with people as well, so we can increase that subscriber base. That would really help out, and I would appreciate it. On Twitter,
our colloidal silver.
Go on to. I'm opening up a merchandise store soon. You can go onto Twitter. It's at Gen Y Conservative without the E on the end. And if you're a audio listener, you can always find me on KLR and Internet Radio on Sundays from 3 to 6 p.m., where I have to strenuously now go through this podcast and edit out the bleep, the curse words.
The S word.
That Billy said. But they re-air it from 3 to 6 p.m. on Sundays, and they also put me onto iHeart, iTunes, Google Play Podcast, and Spreaker. So if you're subscribed to any podcasts on those platforms, certainly go check those out there. And as a reminder, before we leave tonight, another really good podcast to check out is Red Pilled America. I really think that you guys would enjoy that. You look like you're about to say something.
You're fired.
All right, guys, have a great night, and God bless America.